wall rhythmic vibration. Word unpack 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 wall rhythmic vibration.
have to grab my throat and lift me in the air. If you need anyone, I'll stop my plans, but you'll have to tie me down and then break both my hands. If you need anyone, I'll be right there, but you'll have to grab my throat and lift me in the air. If you need anyone, if you need anyone, if you need anyone. I can't believe how much I hate pressures of a new place roll my way. Jump to cover me. Oh, jump to cover me.
Square peg in a round hole. Learned to do my dirt on the down low. Had to make some moves that would sound bold, but in that same dirt I had found gold. So they label me a scoundrel. Guess I had a ruffler. Couple feathers on my way up, but I'm a hustler. I don't give a fuck if I gotta harm you or muscle ya. I've been armed with the tools that we use in the trade of a renegade. Thrive in the game and not able to penetrate. I'm not the same as you. I'm tried and true. This is something that I died to do. Part of learning how to fly. Eventually you hit the ground crashing, but at the bottom of the pain I had found passion. Though I've been gone for a minute now, I'm back in it. We either overcome the past or get trapped in it.
There's a lot of things in life I know. We can go up so high and low. A lot of things are left behind, but that one's called mine. But I still got my gun. My gun. My gun. I still got my gun.
Finally the silent controls of Asgard. Silence is the size of a grown man's arm. Listen, the scope pivot like a cyclops. Chrome so heavy to shoot I had to use a tripod. Bomb, the pistol long like a pool stick. Hammer hit the hollow like a baby in the womb kick. Listen, visual verb, missile swerve. Hit you herbs, feel the pistol burn. Hit you like a whistle bird. All it takes is half a shot, if I have your body to fly half a block at your fucking block party. Pussy, yeah, every word have a period. Yeah, I'm covered the free box exam parts for serious. My lyricism, the Lydians carry the torch for Brooklyn like Sean P and Biggie did. My demographic be Henny and acid. My algorithms are savage, and my religion is madness.
There's a lot of things in life I know. We can go up so high and low. A lot of things are left behind, but that one's called mine. But I still got my gun. My gun. My gun.
Fish, pistol, some gang and all that. Look,
I still got my gun.
stay calm, strap with a bomb. Behind a mask of God, he contracted the vine. I got numbers and statistics, it's a matter of time. I'ma hit him with the 50, Paul Shack at the line. And them fiends lined up, they be pacing for days. Had a yapper put a hole inside his cranial cave. How the fuck is you gon' walk into a maze in the days? Motherfuckers being deviants and say it's a face. This ain't fun and games over here, we make money. And y'all is always gonna be second like Chase Utley. This motherfucker thinking you're Wolfie, the same puppy. It's the same mask, same 45 and the same Duffy. You a goofy, homie, we was never meant to be cool. I was taking people's shit in elementary school. Feel it with both hands, Paul, read it and Braille. And the Whopper always with me, homie, Keenan and Carol. Toma.
There's a lot of things in life I know. We can go up so high and low. A lot of things are left behind, but that one's called mine. But I still got my gun. My gun. My gun. I still got my gun.
I'm a fucking nigga since the 5th grade. Really ain't no difference in that nigga game.
Blood satellite. All right, we didn't do any sound check, so can you hear me? Judas, can you hear me? Anyone hear me? Let me know if anyone can hear me right now. Okay, good. Now I cannot hear. Why is this fucking weird? I cannot hear you. Okay, I'm hearing that Juice. I cannot hear you. Hold on.
Dimes? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Here we go.
My God. Oh, fuck. Jesus, that's not even a problem. We're only 30 seconds in. We're good. Everybody just forget what happened.
I can't do post production, buddy.
You know what it is? I got in here 10 minutes ago, during the music, and I turn OBS on, and it's not recognizing my mic. I spent the last 10 minutes trying to fucking get my mic recognized. And it's because some gay wanted me to do a Teams meeting at work, and there's no mic on my work computer, so I had to bring my mic in yesterday.
Hey, it doesn't recognize your mic. Does it recognize your Larry or your Charles?
Fuck. I walked right into that.
Now, there should have been a shotgun sound effect there. Do
There
we have
was.
a shotgun? Perfect.
It's flawless.
I got all kinds of sounds. I've been importing sounds bit by bit. Here's one you're going to have fun with later. No one knows when a cool thing is happening. How's it going?
It's going good.
We really
Going
should
good.
do more sound checks before we start this thing, but I think this adds a bit to the magic. Now, we already got a bit of a brouhaha going on over here.
Do we?
I open up the chat, and you've been going all day. You've been fucking rip-roaring through the place, and there's something going on here. I'm just quoting Farmer Grady Hauger here. Pan beats microwave for cooking eggs. Now, I had to see this to believe it. There's currently a debate going on whether an American-style egg sandwich needs to be microwaved. I got people swearing by it. I got censored and on up in my fucking grill saying that's how he does it every day.
Is that an argument? Hey
Yeah,
guys,
apparently.
this is the correct way to do it because it's how I do it. It's like cars are for gays because I walk to work. I'm like, I don't know. I think that means you're poor. I don't know.
Unironically, there's like some DR guys who would make that point. Like,
I know.
Do you know that cars were invented by a bisexual?
But how do you know that? Well, because I've never been in a car.
Because
If cars were
I
good, don't
sucked
you-
his dick.
If cars were good, don't you think I would have one? I mean, problem solved.
It's because I fucked the inventor of cars. Because I fucked Henry Ford. Okay, we got John Carter here. He's given us Beavers. That is Beavers. Yeah, I don't like Jay Burden's interview, like getting into my space. We got Jay Burden agents everywhere.
Hey, does Barry actually hate Jay Burden?
Oh, I think he might be blowing up his spot
Yeah,
if we say that out loud, but I couldn't say. I don't know who could hate Jay Burden.
I don't know. This blows my mind because Barry is such a dude. So
It would have been better if he used a
kidding
fake
around.
name. You should have called him Gary.
Shit, you're right.
What's there to hate? I slightly hate him because he's getting all the guests I want. He's getting some good names.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Got his Edward Dutton interview. Got who knows where he's going to go from here. All
What
right.
do we got planned for tonight?
Okay, we actually have a few things. I've overbooked us once again.
Nice.
So I guess the first thing I want to talk about, let's just get this going here, because this is kind of urgent and I'm not sure what to do about it. Now, for the folks at home listening to audio, I got True North pulled up here. And as far as I know, this is an ongoing story. But the liberals, the Canadian liberals, are trying to pass an online hate bill that contains up to $70,000 fines for speech and life imprisonment for hate crimes. And of course, because it's Canadian law, it's all defined very, very dubiously. We covered this in our classic clip where we looked at the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and essentially the Canadian Bill of Rights and how the language is chosen very deceptively and very loosely, in the sense that it's left up to the judges of the moment, however they want to define what something is or is not reasonable.
Right.
But now this hasn't been passed yet, as far as I know. And I'm seeing the pushback to this bill be very negative.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of people, even on Reddit, and Reddit, the Reddit's full of that they're saying this is too far. I'm even shocked that Trudeau is trying to push this through to the point where I think like someone's using him like a puppet at this point. Someone is, because this is so widely unpopular. Everyone hates this. Conservatives hate it. Liberals even hate it. I'm like, this is being pushed through by someone, whoever is working the gears in his head. But basically, like let's have a look here. So maximum punishments for existing hate propaganda are also set to be increased substantially. The bill will include amendments to the criminal code aimed at addressing hate crimes more effectively. The Online Harms Act, known as Bill C-63, was tabled by a Liberal minister, some sort of Brown. I'm not trying to read these names. Let's see here. The bill would also raise the maximum punishments for the 4 hate propaganda offenses from 5 years to life imprisonment for advocating genocide, and from 2 to 5 years for others when persecuted by way of indictment. Now, you see here that it's like, okay, I just won't advocate for genocide. Well, you have to understand how these types of people frame genocide, how they define genocide. So genocide could be construed as anything that is even critical of transgender anything, right? It could be anything critical of the state of Israel. It could be anything critical, just imagine how this could be misused. I think that is how it's being, because there's no other reason for this to occur, obviously. So now, again, this hasn't come into law yet, but it's genuinely worrisome, and I don't think I'm overreacting when I say there's enough episodes of this show to put us away for like a James Fields length of time.
Yeah, for sure. And with this, and with what's gone on with C-21 and a number of the other bills, the internet censorship bill, it's like they're building these wedge issues prior to the next election. Like maybe that was their plan. Oh, well, we can do the most radical left things possible to galvanize our leftist support. But it's like even the left isn't with you on some of this shit. Like it's this one is just insane and completely unenforceable. I get it that maybe they're trying to just create a cooling effect, if maybe that's what it is, but it is insanity. And I think it's the sort of thing that maybe it's maybe this is related to the fact that in the polls right now, Polyev not only has a 99% chance of winning, but like a 99% chance of a massive majority. Like there's no way in hell that Trudeau would win an election. So I feel like a lot of the stuff he's doing politically is just he's throwing it at a wall and seeing if he can get any traction, because he's just shot. Like he might just be pulled and they might put in Freeland, if nothing changes.
Here's the thing about Christina Freeland. If someone put her in charge, no one would be surprised. Like there actually wouldn't be an outrage in a sense. I bet if they swapped in Kamala Harris, people would be pissed off.
Yeah. Well, everybody kind of knows Freeland's been running the government for the past 4 years anyways. Like Trudeau is an idiot. He literally is like pants on head retarded. The Freeland is functionally the prime minister already.
Yeah. So anyway, this is something that actually had me concerned. I'm keeping an eye on it, but this wouldn't make sense to wait until the episode next week, obviously. So I just wanted to put this on people's radar right now. And maybe this is a work. Maybe this is just a preposterous thing they're proposing to like distract people. I don't know. Like there's a lot of different interpretations to this.
Can I also tell just a cute story about Arif Virani, who is the justice minister? He's an Indian refugee, but he's not a refugee from India. His family lived in Uganda, and Uganda expelled all the Indians. They're like, even Uganda doesn't want them, and they kicked them out, and they wound up in Canada. And he was like literally living out of a box in the YMCA. That's where this guy came from.
You want to know another funny story that's alongside that? Because once you hear these stories about people as refugees, very rarely do people look into stories of the refugees. But I worked with an individual many, many years ago, and she was quote unquote refugee from some African country. I don't think it was Uganda, but it was somewhere. And she was all about Black Lives Matter. She was, typical, fresh off every Black person who comes here, doesn't matter what unless it's Nigeria, but they tend to just go lockstep in with whatever the Black thing is. But once I spoke to her and figured out her story, it turns out that there's actually a failed military coup in whatever the country was, and her father was involved in it. And her father was basically something like tried for war crimes. And so they had to flee. So whenever you hear about someone being a refugee, look in the story, because it could be that they just like sawed the heads off of 40 kids and they're correctly kicked out.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know? Governments can kick people out for all kinds of good reasons. And that's interesting. I never heard of Indians being kicked out.
That's
I
pretty
think
funny.
it's just like Jews don't own that story. It'd be funny if Indians were kicked out of like 120 countries. You just never hear about it before. And they don't even bring it up. It's
We
just
dig
that
too deep and we find out Canadians have been kicked out of every country on earth. It's like, oh no.
Canadians are in Canada because it was the only country they didn't get kicked out of just by process of elimination. All right, so just looking at the chat here, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. We got one from on Odyssey. I'm reading the Odyssey comments, by the way. We got Milk Trucker, one of our toppest of guys, saying from the river to the tweet. I like it. It's a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, here is from Nathan Rake Smith, pulling that up. I am a refugee. I committed crimes in my home country. I'm trying to escape justice.
Yeah, seeking refuge from justice.
John Carter, once again, John Carter throwing a lot of heaters across the plate tonight. I think Uganda's great, and all Uganda should go back. This was the long con of white people getting into hip hop, that we're just so into black people. Like, I'll wear an Africa chain. I'm going to tell them, like, look, unless you go back to Africa, or I'm going there.
Yeah.
Because you really don't want white people going there. So
like,
it's one or the other.
You fake them out like you're running for the door, and then the last second you pull back and they all run to Africa.
We call that the old psych. We call that the old white guy.
Damn, son, where'd you find
Stop ass rape!
See, common listeners will be able to hear just from audio alone, tell when I'm searching for a sound drop. Oh shit, John Carter, once again, wait till you hear about Louisianians. Might have to get Christopher Sandbatch.
It definitely says Louisianans, not Louisianians.
Louisi terrestrials. All right, now I'm on the fence if I want to get to this next thing. And I'm going to just pull it up and you tell me whether to turn away.
Okay.
All right. There was an individual. Now,
it'd be great if this article was on The Blaze.
There might be. Now, this is a contentious issue. Do we even want to go down this road? Because we've been talking about it for days. Once again, last across the finish line to talk about this.
It's not
I have
that
some things to
contentious.
say.
It's a really simple issue. It's just that it's it's a moral controversy type thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So for the audio folks, U.S. serviceman dies after setting self on fire outside Israeli embassy to protest war in Gaza. We're looking at Time magazine. I would expect Time magazine to use something like self-immolation, not set self on fire. That sounds a little vulgar. Describe what it was, but it is true. And I've seen an array of responses to this. Now, I'm just going to pull up another thing here. Let's just go here. We're looking at Twitter right now. This is or X. This is mine. Legally Ironic. And they found the individual's Reddit page, right? Actually, let me just go back here. Let me go just a second. So just for people who don't know, active duty service member of the U.S. Air Force has died after he set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. on Sunday in apparent protest of the ongoing Israeli-Hamas war, which he described as a genocide. An argument you've heard a lot before. There's video of this. We're not going to watch the video. You can find the video out there. Some people were, mocking him being on fire. I will leave that to them to do. There's only so many ways you can mock someone who's on fire. I think maybe we've found every undiscovered country when it comes to that.
Within the first 10 minutes, probably.
Yeah, one just to give one. It's like, hey, on fire much?
Hey, somebody call the burn department.
Got some good ones here. Now I'm in it. Now I'm jazzed. Okay, what else we got? Hey, fucking, they got where'd you get that? At the fucking fire store? Was there a fire sale? And this is just off the top. Imagine if I was taking a shit. So now I'm going to go over here. Here we got the basic story. They found his Reddit account, which you cannot find anymore. That Reddit account was taken down. Of course. Because everyone's trying to figure out, okay, what's, he's saying it's a genocide, but is he left or is he right? Because there's a lot of far right guys who are vehemently against the war and call it a genocide, use the exact same language. Right. So here's just some posts. Let's just go through some posts. Nothing wrong with going through posts. He's talking about capitalism here as an anti-capitalist. It's the worst system that exists, is what he's saying. Everyone should absolutely control themselves, and everyone should live with people and systems that agree with capitalism, allows people to control other people. The people who own things that you need to live get, just standard anti-capitalist stuff you've heard before. Yeah. Here's one: whiteness erases culture, because you can make an anti-capitalist argument from a lot of different perspectives. He is anti-whiteness. Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's posting this in he was posting a lot in homelessness and unemployment too. So he's basically saying that, the idea of whiteness suffocates culture. If you are white, you're anti-culture, you're almost anti-civilization. What we got here, he's responding to some comments saying it's disrespectful to chimpanzees, assumedly calling someone a chimpanzee. I'm not being sarcastic. Comparing humans we don't like to non-human animals reinforces human supremacy. Oh my God. Which is destroying humans, non-humans, and the entire planet. So he's one of these ape guys.
This guy was doing himself and the world a favor, I think. He did the right thing.
He's posting on anarchy for everyone here. He's talking about Jesus. Christ's Jesus. He goes, the real Jesus only looks like a half-decent role model compared to the monstrosity that his followers created. Jesus can fuck off with his demagoguery. Is it really funny, like 2024, someone say, Jesus, yeah? How about flipping the fucking bird, baby?
Yeah.
No, fuck him off with his demagoguery. His I am the way, the truth, and the life. His God, love the Lord your God with all your soul, and give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God's what's God's. Like, fuck that demagoguery.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Fuck that guy.
What a wild thing. So anyway, idea was this guy lit himself on fire to protest what he called the genocide of Gaza at the hands of Israel. And what a lot of these individuals say is that Israel is just an extension of the American empire, which is just an extension of imperialism and white supremacy. He would have said those words before. So I heard a lot of individuals, people I like I saw Lucas Gage, very respectable man, veteran. He's in the video calling this individual a hero, calling him, a lot of people calling him a hero. And I'm going to steel man their position.
Okay.
Let's be fair. Okay. Let's be fair. They're saying, and I'll say it, and a lot of people might agree. They'll say this man clearly sacrificed his life. It ain't easy to sacrifice your life. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Sacrifice his life for his convictions because he believed in something. Okay, and which one of you would do that? Is what they would say. And I think I'm quoting even Lucas Gage. And that he brought attention to something he believed in. And okay, I think that's about as far as it goes. Now, what? Let's start with you, because I bet you're going to swing for the fences with this one. I think I might have something that will bore people, but we're going into the weeds on this one because this touches on the last time we went into the Israeli-Palestinian thing. A lot of people weren't happy. Got a lot of angry comments. lost some supporters, even though completely reasonable and correct and enlightened. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school here. We tend to be enlightened. Yeah. So I'm treading carefully, but maybe go out with your mind shoes.
Okay.
What's your opinion? Like I'm asking what your opinion is.
that he's just a libtard killing himself. I mean, it's pretty much what I just said in the chat. There's really, to me, there's almost nothing to it at all. Like I don't know why you have to take what this idiot did and associate it. It's like it doesn't give us any additional meaning to what is already happening in Gaza. We've all talked to death about what's happening in Gaza. We've all formed our opinions. So why would anything this idiot does relate to that in any way? Like, how, just because it's like a broken clock being right twice a day. Yes, he did an insane thing for a cause that you support. His reason for supporting it is completely insane, and the thing that he did was completely insane. So how is he a hero? I don't get how he's a hero. Like I was just from the very first, the opening argument, I don't even understand how anybody who'd think this guy's a hero. I just don't even get it.
We got one here who probably agrees with a lot of individuals. I'm looking at Omegas 13 saying that I'm going to take the W here. A leftist offed himself, which caused problems for Jews. I'm also disappointed the American system is turning out broken clocks, crazy people.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so he was a stupid liberal. He killed himself for a stupid reason. He's causing a lot of problems for. This is great. This is the thing. Like, I don't like the idea that the Jews can genocide an entire people with impunity. The main reason I don't like it is because I think we're next. Do I really care about the Palestinians that much? Not really. If the Jews weren't killing them, they'd probably try to kill us. They're not our friends. But I mean, the fact that Israel can do that is terrifying, because who's next? Right? That's fucking scary. But the thing I like about the war in Gaza is it's completely turned all of these people against each other. You've got all of these brown golems that the Jews have set up in North America are now turning on the Jews, calling the Jews white colonizers. So, like, I've got my popcorn out for this shit.
Yeah, this has short-circuited the narrative generation system that we have going on right now. You got, like, there's a lot of cases of, like, Jews fighting with black people and Jews fighting with, Aboriginals over this topic. It's completely upset the balance of the system. I had a couple of takes on this that address some very specific points. One thing I had noticed was the act of self-immolation, and this is what made me originally immediately consider that he was a leftist, was because self-immolation is a very mid-20th century thing to do. And this is what I found fascinating. And let me just say, when I was kind of laughing at this, it is darkly comical. It is darkly comical that this man did kill himself in public for a cause, and it seemed that right away everyone was making fun of him. And I mean everyone. I mean the libs, the conservatives, the people who are on his side. Because you saw, if you went on Twitter, you would see even his comrades saying that don't call him a hero. He's still a white man and still an enlisted member of the imperialist army. Like, he can't win. And then, but it did make me think. It made me think of why self-immolation is a mid-20th century thing, and that even that act itself doesn't ring any bells for people like Zoomers, millennials. Like, that doesn't really affect us. Like, maybe it did back then if you saw a Tibetan monk do it. But now, like, it had the exact opposite effect that I think it was intended to have. And I don't just want to call him stupid. That's just an interesting sociological point, I thought. That that's a tool you don't have in your toolbox in the 21st century, because no one gets it. It doesn't mean anything to people, evidently, right? And I just wanted to address the claim that he was sacrificing his life. And I would state that he wasn't even a sacrifice. And I'll explain what I mean. So usually when someone kills themselves publicly, we talked about this. We did a whole series on sacrifice, ritual sacrifice, and even the accursed share by George Bataille. And the idea of a sacrifice is you only sacrifice what is most valuable. And the process, the rituals, even when sacrificing a slave, were very fascinating. Like, you would pick a slave and you would almost treat that slave as something higher than the king in the time leading up to the sacrifice, because you were chosen for some divine act, right? And so, the claim is, and there's not a lot of evidence of this, obviously, but the claim is, like, you only sacrifice something that is of value. Otherwise, it's not a sacrifice. You don't sacrifice just some shit you're going to get rid of. Right. So a sacrifice only works if the individual really prizes their life and really loves who they are, right? Especially even if they're a Christian. Imagine a Christian kill themselves. What sacrifice that would be? You believe you're going to hell. And that's the ultimate sacrifice, right?
Right.
For this political action. However, it seems to me that he killed himself not because he loved and respected himself, but he saw himself as the avatar and the archetype of the entire system that he hated. He was a white individual rallied against whiteness, hated whiteness, also hated, like
Right.
he killing himself was the best way he could kill a white serviceman.
Yeah.
So it's all in that way. It's almost the inverse of a sacrifice. It is an act of self-murder, and that might sound like semantics, but I think he resented what he represented so much that it was like, I don't know, like I don't see it as sacrifice.
It's almost like a feminine way of looking at it, or like a, I don't know, like a immature, or like if you were a man, what you'd expect from a man is, first of all, say all of the things that make me, that represent evil, are things that I can change. I can't change being white, but I can change being in the military. So the first thing you do is leave the military. The next thing you do is identify as a different culture, and then you can go and do your violence at the embassy, but maybe you do it on somebody else instead of yourself, because now you're not the enemy anymore. Like, it's really weird that you would kill yourself. Like, I really cannot relate to, like, again, you volunteered to join the army, and now you're so mad at yourself for volunteering that you kill yourself. Dude, what?
And to me, I fear, like, if we keep pulling this thread, is the Bradley Manning case back on the table? You know what I mean? Like, we hate Bradley Manning. He struck against Zog, struck against the American establishment, but he's still
Troon or somebody else.
Yeah, like the insane tranny who, by the way, leaked very indiscriminately, like just the way a tranny would leak things. So I just wanted to call attention to 2-Bit Podcast here, a friend of the show. I'm going to be appearing on them soon. He says, what you're describing is a difference of quality between Cain and Abel's sacrifices to God. I think it's a very good point. We got Minoan here. Self-immolation and other gore isn't effective much since Live Leak. Good point. You really need to build a saw trap for yourself.
Yeah, the gore economy is crowded in 2024. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, self-immolation. Like, I mean, if you burned just your cock and balls off, well, now we're talking. Now we're at the party. you got to get we become so fetishized. Like, it's got to be just burn one part of you, and that'll be enough.
I think I've seen more gore on like joke Indian Live Leak reels in the past week than there was in that video.
China really does sacrifice its own people for content. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I was doing this. Like, I was watching, I guess, like 3D rendered industrial safety videos from these Chinese companies showing like the most common mistakes. And it's not graphic, of course, but it's someone being like kicking rocks out of a giant metal mouth. Don't do that. Don't climb into the fire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this happens so much. Like, it takes a lot to make an animation. If you guys tried to make even 3D animation, costs a lot of money.
For like, don't be lazy and try to ride the crucible across there or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so I'm just gonna read a couple tweets here. Just from Odyssey as well. It's mostly just nice things on Odyssey. I don't got fucking Beaver Gang up in my craw saying, regards from Jay Burden firing off shots in my eyeballs. Taking all my friends.
We love you, Jay.
Gonna wake up one day, Judas is co-hosting.
By the way,
we're all in a tug of war over Thomas 777
J
right
stands
now.
for Judas.
Oh, damn. Okay, wait. Fuck. Okay. Say that again.
Have you ever seen us in the same room? J stands for Judas.
I just slipped there. Anyway, I just wanted to go because this really gets us back into the Israeli-Palestinian conflict thing, where I oppose the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That someone did a thing against Israel, and so if you're an anti-Zionist, then it's like, yes, he's our guy. But I'm like, he hated you. And again, a part of the dark comedy was that the only people defending him vehemently right now are far right guys, and he would kill himself again if he saw that. You
Yeah.
know, like he
It's
hated
really
white,
beautiful.
like he hated white people, and so I'm like, call me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm open to a discussion. I'm open
You know
to
what
people
this
push back,
is?
but it just seems like a guy who hated white people killed himself because he hated white people. I don't know, but
This is an A24 vignette. That's what it is.
go on.
No, it's like you've got all of these layers of character, and they all go in different directions, and follow each one of them, and it loops back on itself. He is so unvindicated. He's so hated by everyone around him, and every decision he makes in every direction just makes it worth it. He's like the perfect tragic character. Like in some ways, he's almost platonic. It's amazing, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
How he could fuck everything up so flawlessly.
And I hesitate to get celebratory because at the end of the day, it is a man who burned himself to death. And when you watch it, like, it's never good watching someone burn themselves to death. It's real, right? If you heard about it in a Far Side comic, yeah, I guess that's funny in theory. But then it's like, I do look at this as a, I don't know how I would jailbreak that sort of mind out of that. Because some guys on our side were saying someone from our spheres of influence should have gotten this guy, should have gotten this lost and confused individual. And I'm just like, I don't know where you start with someone like that. They're so ideologically possessed and they're so lost. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where you would start. I don't know if
we don't need him. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like, why? We don't need every single dude. Just leave him.
Humiliation.
Yeah, really. And I guess that's it. I guess maybe some people might push back on that. I don't want to make any claims that if you defend him, you're anti this or that. But it's very much in line with the, I do not want to lionize those who any other day of the week would just hate me. And it's just sheer coincidence that our aims align momentarily, it seems.
Yeah. Trouble says in the chat, he's worth pitying. I agree he is worth pitying, but I think that there's a line, a very deep chasm between pitying and lionizing somebody. But yeah, he does deserve pity. I'm sure all kinds of things happened to him that drove him to this over, decades. So
remember last time, one of our guys, who was the guy, Sky King? Remember him? The guy who hijacked a plane?
That guy was a hero.
That guy. I miss that guy. Imagine if this guy did, because he's in the Air Force.
You miss a guy who you never heard about until after he killed himself.
Yeah, but I miss him more than I could take one of him over 100 you.
Yeah, like that's. Oh, thank you so much. No, but that would be a true case where somebody should have got to him. Somebody should have got to him and helped him. He, yeah.
I was actually checking on Reddit, and there's like, I can't access this Reddit because I don't have an account there, and it had to be 18 plus to go there. But I could see the headline, and it was like Palestine. The r/Palestine sub was saying, "We celebrate this man," which is, and again, I might be talking out of turn here. That's the only time I've ever seen a Palestinian person thank anyone for defending Palestine. And that's something I've said to a lot of even the people on the far right. Some people say they have individuals who are Palestinians. I've never heard of an official Palestinian group or advocacy group or rights group, whatever, thank a single far right individual for propagandizing for them. Never heard it. Never heard him say thanks. Never seen them come to anyone else's defense.
And that's Reddit, so probably it's not real either.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of Palestinians on fucking Reddit either, by the way.
By the way,
it's fat women.
They're all in Rafa and they have no wireless, so.
Yeah. I wonder what Muslims got to have their own internet, right? They got their own thing going on, or do they?
Their own internet? I wish they had their own internet.
Well, kind of like Russia's got like VK. They got their own thing going on, and China's got LiveLeak is Chinese internet. That's how they communicate.
Isn't the crazy based millennial president Palestinian? What is it? What country is that?
Ooh.
The guy who I forget which country it was in South America. Somebody in the chat can pipe up, but it was like El Salvador. Is it El Salvador? That he went around and he jailed 20,000 gangbangers, and it suddenly became the lowest crime rate in all of North. Like, they have a lower crime rate than the US now. And he made Bitcoin their official currency and shit.
I like the prison thing. Not sure where I stand on the Bitcoin thing. Probably not. You know, that's they're reading too much of our internet. That's what we don't realize. We don't realize how many other countries read the exact same shit that we do. They read our posts. All of South America is just reading shit that like guys in Tennessee are writing. So if we're into Bitcoin, South America's into Bitcoin, and they should not be into Bitcoin. They can't handle dollars. They can't handle fucking coal and pineapples and shit. They've made a mess of cocaine.
It's that unnamed project that we don't have to talk about that you mentioned to me the other day about distributed manufacturing. I went into the community on that, and it's an American right-wing guys, but like it's all South Americans and like Eastern Europeans in that community. It's so funny.
That's basically going to be Hyperborea by the end of it. Like you think it's going to be white people in there. No, it's Hispanics and Eastern Europeans. And you never hear about them like being in a room at the same time, do you? We hear all about every other type of guy, every other ethnicity. Do Hispanics and Eastern Europeans get along?
They're the same guy.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. It feels like they're the same type of guy.
They could be the same guy. Yeah.
I'm half Eastern European. I'm half Ukrainian. I have a lot of Mexican qualities. Let's list them. I'm into spooky shit. Skulls and ghouls and things, right?
Yeah.
I'm into like things that when you turn the lights off, they're still glowing, you know? Like black light stuff. I'm into that. I'm
long-toed snakeskin cowboy boots.
Yes, exactly. I have a pair. I have several pairs. That is not a joke, by the way.
No, it's not. He has those.
I'm into like I'm into like Catholicism, but also violence. And I'm like, I'm always thinking like, why can't we combine them more?
Yeah.
And they just did it. They said, we're going to make like cartel leaders saints.
You're like the truest Catholic because you're just vaguely into Catholicism enough that you're allowed to apologize for being insanely violent.
See, the older I get, I'm just a practical man. I'm someone who likes results. I'm someone who likes data, and I'm just seeing something that works. All right, let's see. Oh, we got a Winkler's meat over here saying pretty unlikely to find a Palestinian who'd be thankful to a right winger on the internet or in the West. By the way, are you still dying? For people keeping count, this is like the third time you've been sick this year. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, this season. It's only been this season, not this year.
How you feeling?
Feeling like a sack of shit, bro. Feeling.
Is it your house? I think it's your. It's got to be your
Look,
house.
I thought I don't think it's my house. I think, and I've said before, part of it is just the viral load of being on the other side of the world and coming back. It took me about 18 months to get through it when I moved to Hong Kong in the first place. The same thing happened to me. So I think I'm just adjusting. The other thing is, honestly, dude, you got to just try having a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old going to fucking daycare and going to parks every day. And like, they're not sick all the time, but they always have runny noses. They're always covered in fucking viruses. Doesn't matter what you do, especially at this age. They're into everything. So yeah, it is what it is.
Maybe you should have cleaner kids. Maybe you should have.
I mean, look, I'm open to suggestions. Do I lock them in a cupboard? Like, what do I do? Geez.
Well, I mean, have you tried that?
Yeah, sometimes. I just yell at them and drink more.
Yeah, we've been going for a while, and we haven't gone to the topic of the fucking stream.
Here we go.
Okay, so, and this is just a stream. I came into this with one goal. I just want to have some fun. What happened to us? You and me. We used to fucking dilly-dally. We used to waddle around on the show.
Now we're just on topic. This is it's awful.
Now we're out here. We're trying to figure out Phantom Dark Ages. We're out here trying to figure out how to make a parallel society. We used to do whatever the fuck we wanted. We used to, look at a photo of a fanny and go, adoy. We used to do all kinds of shit.
And I wanted to be. Did though was we just drank and wandered around at night looking for a fight. That's most of what we did, though. Like, if we're being honest.
Which is also what we did on the show too. I was mainly referring to the show, but that carried over to the show.
We're too old to go out in the streets, so we just go on the internet now. John wants to know if I live in a trailer park with a leased Mustang parked in the front yard. Yeah, pretty close. Pretty fucking close.
A leased Mustang makes it sound so much worse. What is a Mustang except a lease that you just don't give back.
What?
So what we're looking at here on screen right now, here's an individual that a lot of people might be aware of. His name is Vaush. Some people call him Vaush. That's what I do. I think maybe pisses him off. I don't know. But Vaush, he got into some trouble lately. Recently, rather. And I'm not going to show the exact video that got him in trouble because it contains imagery that could get us in trouble. But basically, when this man, Vaush, who is what would we call him? Progressive socialist streamer, came out of the Destiny sphere, if anyone knows who Destiny is, was basically an orbiter of Destiny, broke off on his own, is all into that progressive politics, just like Hassan Piker, just like all these people. Although I will say he tilts more towards LGBT stuff, sexuality stuff. That's kind of his niche, whereas Hassan Piker is more about
shit.
brown revolutionary bullshit. He's interviewing fucking twink pirates and what have you. But he's kind of, I mean, look at him right now. You see him, look at his expression, look at what's around him. It's the same purple lights, the same fucking bullshit.
He's a self-described size queen. I think that's in the video. I learned that from watching this video, that he is a size queen.
Yes, and that is not things that normal people say.
No, normally men don't say I'm a size queen.
Yeah, and if only a gay man would say that, and if you are not fully gay, then you're worse.
He
If
wants
you
it.
are-
That's the thing. Does he not want to be like, no, guys, I'm straight. It's just cool to do gay shit now. Like that's his personality. Or is he actually gay? Because he's always talking
Yeah.
about how much he likes dicks. But he's like, no, I'm straight. It's 2024. You're allowed to like dicks. Like,
Well, and it's
what?
hard. It's difficult because the times we live in, it seems that people in this space are hyper perverted no matter what, at least compared to how they would be in decades past. So there's more guys with fetishes. There's more people, regular internet people who just know the lingo. And we talked about this before, that the average straight person online knows way too much gay stuff.
Yeah.
Why do I know what a twink is? Why do I know what a bear is? I shouldn't know that shit. Everyone fucking does. Your mom knows that shit. So, but he, as we will see, just to set up what happened, he was on a stream and he was clicking over to a window to show his taxes for some reason. And his tax folder was it was a subfolder with another folder full of pornography that he intended to sort later. So let's stop right there. It's going to take a while to set this up. Normal, regular people first of all, they don't download pornography. I'm just going to come out and say that right now. Most guys, they just go online, find it, and then it's gone. But if you are accruing a stockpile of porn, you're already an advanced coom brain, right?
Yeah.
And if you got your own categorization system and you have subfolders, I haven't sorted this yet. I'm going to put it into the database later. You're already so far removed from being able to explain this to people that you shouldn't bother, which is what he tried to do. But he showed the folder, and within that folder, there was a selection of bestiality pornography, mainly horses. And as we will see later, I'm kind of spoiling some stuff later, but it's important to set this up. He's been openly vocal about being into horses. He likes horses. He likes large horse penises. And this has been known for years, as he will point out in this video. And it kind of became a running joke, but he would explain it. There's leaks from his Discord saying how much he's into it and he just likes it. But the images in question also involved what we would know as lowly pornography or lolly pornography. Long story short, not going to get too graphic about it, but it's horses raping children. Very, very clearly. That's the reason we're not showing the clip where it shows the folder. But it was very funny where he catches himself and he goes, oh, make that sound.
Yeah.
That sound that you make go, oh, and then clicked away. But that sound and the sheer panic in his eyes. I'm going to try and see if I can dig up that photo, because you need to keep that reaction in mind for what we're going to watch.
He tries to brush it under the rug and be like, I mean, I wasn't that embarrassed. Everybody saw it. I mean, whatever. It's like, okay, then why did your heart drop into your stomach? Why did you shit yourself instantly?
Why did a nuke go off in your soul and you had to share? Even here, you look at his eyes right here. for those at home. Look at his
Oh, yeah.
eyes. That is a panic. I don't know if that's how he normally looks, but this is a panic-stricken man
Mhm.
wearing women's frames. And if a woman had a beard, I feel like a woman would style their beard like this.
He's
That's
got
fucking
dyke
ramen.
frames. I think he colors his beard. It's too even.
But we talked about this before about streamers who just go to like a store and buy like streamer stock setup. You just look at like what is this on the wall? It's like ramen, a neon ramen sign, and then just like Japanese shit. Like if you want to get a streamer, you go put down $500 and they'll give you a bunch of fucking tchotchkes and nonsense to put in the background. But anyway, like the sheer panic. Then he goes and makes this video called the context video, where he is going to have to explain why he had those images. He's going to try and justify those images. It's a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I don't have timestamps. We're going to watch a lot of it from the beginning because there's a lot of good. I got to be careful when I say it. I'm going to say there's a lot of good meat in the beginning there. Can't say that, though. This is a minefield of double entendres we're getting into here. He's going to try and justify that, but also he's forced to explain why there's so many clips out there of him defending child pornography. Now, a lot of sensible people will be saying, well, you're caught with child pornography. So, yeah. And also, if anyone knows anything about this, you're not likely to find this sort of pornography in regular places. You don't get it by accident. You don't stumble into getting these images. You have to search for them, right? So that he will try and tell you that it was by accident or something, but that makes absolutely no sense. And also, one thing he's going to say, and again, spoiling this right now, one thing he'll say later on is that all the clips of him from the past in debates justifying pedophilia were him being a debate bro. I was just an edgy guy. But he's not edgy in any other direction. He's not a guy who made race jokes or sex jokes or gay jokes. He's a guy who did this one thing over and over again for years. So anyway, you had watched this and you didn't know much about Vaush. And so you're like, he kind of sounds reasonable. I am not a scholar, but I know a bit more about him. So we're going to try and dissect exactly what he's saying. And just have some fun with it. We're gonna waddle around. We're gonna slap our bellies. It's gonna be a good time. Oh, we got pragmatic culture here. Y'all need a super chat link. We, I think we have something on Odyssey set up, but I didn't figure it out for YouTube. But that our loss is your gain. I'll read whatever the f you want. And if you want to do anything here, let me just pull this up here. You can. Here's an image here. Support the show by going to Gumroad or Patreon, getting in the Blood Satellite Winners Circle. It's $5 a month. You get the first 100 episodes of the show. You also get a secret exclusive show that I release every couple weeks. And it's a video show. You could just watch that. And so you get a lot of stuff for $5 a month. And also you get to support the show.
Hey, speaking of exclusive show, you want to hear a funny story? When we started this stream, I accidentally hit start streaming on OBS. So I've been streaming just my background on the YouTube channel. And Sean was in there saying hello. I just noticed it. Fuck, we have two streams going.
Okay,
Fuck.
so okay. You
I just turned it off. Sorry, Sean. Sean, please come into the real stream.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, let's get our heads right here.
Fuck.
Okay. I'm sweating.
What is going on?
Was that Sean
Where's the real
Weiland?
screen? Okay, I see it. Yeah, Sean Weiland.
Oh man, he's one of our best guys.
Fuck you, Judas.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right, so that's enough setup. And also I've got some threads here from Kiwi Farms that maybe we'll jump into as well, just to show some people what we're talking about. You know what? Let's just set it up for people who don't know Vaush here. Let's here's a couple of threads. Just source from the good people at Kiwi Farms. Here's Apotheosis. Just some tweets from the past. Might take just a little while to pull it up here. Here he is defending kink at Pride. Why did the kink at Pride discourse start again? I really hope kink at Pride is the worst discourse we get this month, because I have a horrible feeling we're also going to get maybe the shooter couldn't have killed 32 people if you weren't so insistent on alienating cops in Pride festivals. So this is in regards to a trans shooter of some kind. Um, here's one of him talking to someone named Danny, who says, "I've never met a bad girl kisser, but I've had to correct every boy's kissing I've ever made out with." Vaush responds, "This is mostly true, but I think it's a straight guy thing, throwing straight guys under the bus, eh? Or possibly a white person thing." He's blaming, of course. Someone else responds, "Maybe no one actually likes kissing you because, well, you know why." And he says, "But I am neither straight nor white."
Oh, really?
Straight from the horse's mouth.
Is he not white? What is he?
I think he might.
Jewish?
I don't think he's Jewish. I know a lot of people are going to jump to that conclusion. I've seen no evidence that he is Jewish.
He's not Jewish. He's obviously white. He's like the whitest guy on earth. Look at him.
His real name is Kaczynski.
Yeah, so he's fucking Polish. You can't get any whiter than Polish.
He is Polish, which, I mean, depending on what circles you're in, is worse than Jew.
Fuck, did we? God damn it.
Holy shit.
Depending on who you ask. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you know, during the Holocaust, everyone talks with the Jews. It started with the Polish, and the whole
That's
world
so
said,
weird.
finally, with these people.
But you mean there's a lot of Polish Jews too?
Yeah.
I don't know why he'd say that. He's not one of us though, so he wouldn't be making the connection like, oh well, Poles aren't white. Like, come on, you know what white is.
Let's see here. Here he is getting into fights with other anarchists. He's big in the anarchism scene. Here we go. The Depp Heard trial has been an object lesson in the fact that people really only care about what they're told to care about, and the left can't expect people to side with them just because the left punches for policies that would objectively make people's lives better. You know, that probably wasn't an interesting one. Let's what else we got here? We got some coverage of some debates he was in. Let me see if I can get one going here. There's this one guy who, again, same guy who I like. I'd watch these videos so I can confirm this assessment of it. There's some videos here on the site, clips from a debate he had. And some of the quotes from this are Vaush explicitly tells his audience to break the law and throw bricks and do warring with police and get neighborhoods bombed as long as they don't hurt innocent people, tells his viewers that they need to be psychotic, says Republicans are like the Nazi movement in Germany and anything other than aggressive militant action won't stop them. Says, well, maybe I like Vaush now, Jesus Christ. So we should both advocate for violence like Republicans and still get mass appeal. Republicans never advocate for violence. Like this is, you'll find that he lives like many of these guys do in this like, fiction world where they're convinced that the far right, people, you know, in our spheres get all the money. We're all millionaires, and that Republicans advocate for violence every single day. This is something they talk about. Sam Cedar talks about this. All the big talking heads who have large followings say the exact same thing. They live in this like parallel universe. Tells his audience that they need to grow up and realize that Republicans are monsters trying to kill them. And you'll hear this. You'll hear Vaush say that mainline conservatives, not even guys like us, mainline conservatives are evil. They're ontologically evil, and you need to want to kill them. And he gets, as far as I think, he's still on Twitch. He's on YouTube. He's advocating for violence very frequently and getting away with it. Admits that dog whistling for violence is good because it's effective. Republicans, Nazis. Yeah, anyway, so won't get too much into that. That's just a primer on this guy for people who don't know this guy. So let's get into it. Let's have some fun. And you're going to see, you're probably going to get upset at how he talks, but let's just go.
So this is a video I probably should have made a long time ago. There are two main reasons why I haven't. For one, everything we're about to talk about has been discussed over and over and over again on this channel in live stream.
So pause quickly. It's very funny if you need to keep denying this. He's going to talk about all the instances where he's been forced to explain some wild shit he said on the topic of pedophilia. So I'm of this, maybe once is enough. You should, if you stumbled into something, he's done it like 20 fucking times, right? So right away, him saying that, like, I'm so tired of having to explain myself.
Yeah,
the best look.
I think, to tell you, to be honest, I think he knows that, and this is a misdirection tactic, because if this hadn't have happened, he wouldn't have to explain. So he's saying, look, the only reason I'm making this video is because you guys keep asking the same question over and over, the same question. It's not the same question, man. What just happened is new. We're asking you about the thing that just happened.
Also, for the people listening to the podcast version of this, you're really missing out if you can't see his eyes right now. If you can't see like the look in his eyes that looks like he hasn't slept in 3 days.
He's got the oh shit, I'm going to jail eyes.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's see.
Streams and in videos. Some of it has been discussed to death. Over engagement with the topic has caused it to have a disproportionate influence both on my community and on the way people outside of my community.
All the talk about all these things I've done is having a disproportionate effect. No, it's accurately proportionate. Things keep getting discussed if they never actually go away. It's pretty hard to keep something in the zeitgeist as part of the conversation unless there's some dedicated people doing it or it just keeps happening. Like Bam Margera. Like people talk about Bam Margera getting drunk when he shouldn't because he keeps fucking doing it.
Right.
That's how I don't know, fucking society and communication works. Anyway.
Community perceive me and my channel. The second main reason I've been hesitant to make this video is because experience has taught me that generally speaking, if folks want to hate you or distrust you or whatever else, it's pretty difficult to convince them otherwise. Sometimes, if you're unpopular enough, even if you've got a good point to make, just the attempt to change people's minds can come across as kind of self.
So I'm putting this at 1.5 speed, just a heads up. I might put it to 2 speed because this is very characteristic of how he operates. And just to reel this back in a bit, remember, Judas, when I showed this to you, you had made a comment that he came across as somewhat reasonable. What would you say? Could you repeat that?
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, I don't know a lot of the background on Vaush. I know vaguely where he's coming from. And you know me, I'll throw the guy in a fucking pit for the smallest thing. So I hate him. Don't worry about that.
For almost anything.
For practically anything. I mean, I just had the wind that day. But just trying to be, even-handed and listening to each of his arguments, or each of his, I should say, his defenses. If I was defending myself in each of those situations, I might use similar arguments. They're fairly reasonable arguments if taken like blank slate and not interlinking them with each other and not interlinking them with the larger context of everything else that's happened. So, and I know you were saying like, oh, he's not genuinely an intelligent person. I can see that, but he definitely has a lot of practice. This is
exactly.
This is something he's used to doing. He's used to being on the back foot and saying things that prevent the pitchforks from reaching his gate. So, and that's what I got from this. Cause like the first thing where he brings up the original video here and he's talking about it. It's like, all right, when you show the context, when you show this specific context, it does look like he's anti-child pornography in terms of the phrasing that he uses. But if you look in the larger context, if he's the one who's always initiating these discussions, I don't know, man. I think there's probably something else going on there.
Yeah, exactly. So again, if no one's seen how it was before, he'll show clips in a little bit. He actually is. He's not this construct you're seeing in front of you comes after years of debating people, having a community that critiques you, and creating a persona that he believes gives off a balanced and measured, erudite sort of air. Deep down, he is just a fucking internet spurg. And occasionally he will unleash that. But and you'll see this right now. This is why I wanted to call attention to it. He's going to say a lot of things. You'll notice something about guys like this. Like if you ask them a direct question, even based on something they said, they will do everything in their power to dance around it and qualify it. It's like, oh, is the sky blue? It's like, under most circumstances, including presently, the sky could be perceived by some as blue. And it's like, okay, did you just say that the sky could be perceived as blue? Well, I didn't actually say that. I didn't specifically say that. What I said when prompted was to say that perhaps under certain, it really comes down to what blue means. So, and like he will go off for 15 minutes to never actually say a thing. And unless you are used to hearing this The average person will say, oh, this is a very careful, thoughtful individual who doesn't want to say the wrong thing. It's the inverse. It's that they don't want to stand by anything they've made, especially if they believe an opponent is saying it. So they will just kick up dust so that they're not saying anything. And that is what you'll see at the very beginning of this. And so that's kind of what this video is going to be. We're going to laugh at it, but I also want to talk a bit about how these former debate guys operate, because this is a debater's persona. This is also kind of what Destiny does well. But I actually have more respect for Destiny because he's willing to go into the fucking octagon as the unpopular guy and actually scraps. So, points to him for that. That one wouldn't be any friend saying that, by the way. But
incriminating. You actually ground them further in the positions they already have. It's one of those deals where the people who need to hear it won't listen, and the people who...
Shut up.
Well, the gist of it is this. When people accuse me of being a pedophile, they usually do so while presenting pieces of evidence, often clips from my live streams.
When people accuse me of pedophile, oftentimes they'll provide evidence, which is not good. Like, it would be better if you said, like, someone made this up. This is just a deranged person, but you're starting from they also have evidence and a lot of it. Sorry.
Make me look bad. While I do think that a lot of the claims and pieces of so-called evidence used against me range from being uncharitable to outright dishonest, the fact remains that I have said some incredibly...
There's a lot of evidence against O.J. Simpson that I'm sure he would think is uncharitable.
Stupid fucking shit on this channel, especially really early on, like right when I started streaming. And I don't fault anyone for seeing clips from that and being suspect of me. I wasn't doing myself any favors, I'll say that much. For a lot of them, such as the ones where I'm making a point that is overall good and like uncontroversial, but I do a bad job of making it, there's nothing for me to really like debunk. It's not a takedown. It's more a matter of charity. I have to go and look at these clips.
So just a quick pause there, because I don't want to go into he repeats himself a lot, but that's an interesting little twist he did there of melding two things together. At the same time, he's saying that I used to be stupid. I was edgy and I was dumb and I was young. However, he will not say that he doesn't stand by the point he was making.
Yep.
He will only say he expressed it inelegantly, but also not that inelegantly, because only the people who are being uncharitable would think it's inelegant. He's saying a few things at once there. He doesn't actually disagree with anything he said in the past, and he won't actually admit that he'll say he was dumb. It's like, were you so dumb that you said something?
He won't take it back.
No.
He won't take it back. He just said, that was poorly phrased. It's like, yeah, but do you believe it?
Yeah. What a great frame to pause on. Real Tim and Eric hours over here.
Explain, what do they mean? What was I thinking? What was I saying? Is this clip like so dishonestly cut that no reasonable person would interpret it as looking bad if seeing the full context? Or was I saying really stupid shit and I'm going to have to like work to explain what my thought process was at the time? And past that point, it's up to other people to either believe my charitable explanations or believe significantly less charitable ones. That's up to them.
Calling your own explanations charitable is not a good thing. It's like, you can either believe what I said there or me trying to explain it away. Like, yeah, you're making excuses. Let me just go here. Who is this video for?
Though, so I don't plan on doing much squirming, but there will be lots of self-debasement. So to you and to the people,
which is the type of thing he's into. Now, there was a theory that I subscribe to. He's like, oh, this video is going to be full of self-debasement. I'm going to be so embarrassed. There's a theory that I think is accurate that's part of this, because someone like Vaush, I was just talking about how this persona he's constructed, it's very specific, it's very well designed. However, he is very comfortable. He's been doing this for so long. This whole thing was that he got sloppy. He got too careless. He put his tax folder in his fucking porn folder, and he was going to show his taxes on a stream. Like, there's too much dumb shit going on here. So part of why this happened could have been that he's so comfortable, and he teased out that he's into weird horse pornography and his career didn't end. This is what pedophiles also do, right? They will tease it. They will reveal themselves. You see this happen with there's this individual who was close with Dick Masterson. I forget his name. Vito, I believe his name was. And he was an accused pedophile. And he was doing this thing where he's like, I say I'm a pedophile. You know who also does this is Zerka in America First. They'll say, I'm going to say that I'm a pedophile, but guess what? I'm just doing that to be edgy. I'm doing that because that's the one taboo you can't be. But that's also what pedophiles do, because they get off on announcing it and making you have to deal with it and kind of normalizing it.
Yeah.
So he's normalized the fact that he's into horse penises for so long that this could be the next step of this strange humiliation, because like as he tries to explain why he's into this pornography, it's not normal. It's humiliation, it's violence, it's ugly, it's shitty, but he's a violent. And this is what I don't like about a lot of these progressive types is they try and explain away every kink. There's a lot of kinks and a lot of fetishes that are I even say most of them are fucking deplorable. Anything that's about like what he's into sexually is children being destroyed. That's what it is. That's what he's in. You don't get to be into that. You don't get to say, here's my work life and here's my children being destroyed life, sexually destroyed and physically destroyed. Like, you don't get to have those. You know, that's not like just a dialectic you could have forever.
And I think that understanding and the fact that he seems to get off on being embarrassed and lampooned are probably related.
Exactly.
I think it's coming to a point with him maybe over the next few years. Maybe he wants us to hang him from a lamppost.
Yeah, everyone said, like, whatever happened to flashers? We used to have guys used to just flash people. Well, they do this stuff. They just reveal their porn folders, and there's like a sick thrill with that. Or they engineer situations where it spills out of their pockets, right? So that could be what this is. This is all part of his fucking sick game. Because remember, like we said at the start, there is no explanation for this. You got caught with bestiality, child porn. That's what it is. There's no accident.
Yeah.
and you were scared that people found it. Remember that too.
People who just hate me, if you want to see self-debasement from me, there will be that. So you can look forward to that, I guess. Yeah, and I know.
And just to know, in the background there, that is his plaque from YouTube, because he got like, I guess that's a platinum one where he got like 1 million subscribers, something like that. He's boasting this entire time, at least implicitly, that YouTube is on board with all of this.
Oh, that even making a video like this can come across as pretty damning, just innately. But I really do hope that you take it seriously and try to be charitable, if for no reason other than because it is a pretty serious topic. And last, the full.
And sorry, I keep talking this, but I want to give more context. Every single one of his friends, including Hassan Piker and people in his community, begged him not to make this video. Even Hassan was like, dude, just don't talk about it. Let it go. Just, it'll go away. Instead, he drops, again, for those at home who can't see this, an hour 41, close to an hour 42. Now you look at that. If this video, if there exists a good form of this video, it's 5 minutes. And 4 of those minutes are answering questions. But if you need to explain why you're not a pedophile for an hour 42.
He's just dredging shit up over the last 10 years. I watched the whole thing at 2 times speed and it's like, oh man. Nobody you're just spreading your laundry out, man.
Yeah. Also, comment here from James No. There for a bit there was a pedo thing that was really kind of low-key popular. Do y'all remember pedo bears? And that is an interesting thing. A lot of people forget that. And I would say on the internet it was popular, but even prior to that, like it was kind of common when I came up. You know, we're millennials, we're in our 30s. Humor used to be more randomly edgy. And I remember in high school, people would tell dead baby jokes. You know, just pick the worst thing you could joke about. I'm going to tell a joke about it. And that's what edgy humor is.
Yeah.
And pedo, like the 4chan pedo bear, it is what it sounds like. It's a cartoon bear that was a pedophile. And you would make jokes about, I'm going to come get you. Yeah. So a lot of people, and this is where it gets messy when people were talking about like James Gunn, when their tweets were revealed where he was like making jokes about kidnapping kids and stuff. Everyone's like, aha, the Epstein Island. I'm like, probably, because I think James Gunn's got some shit in his closet, but also there was a lot of people who just did random try hard shit like that. So I'm not saying ignore it, but we don't do that anymore. We haven't done that in years, but there was a time when you did see more people do that, and it wasn't funny, but it was almost like LOL, so random in a sense. Oh, here we got Seamus. Oh, Blackley. The only bear I remember is Shake That Bear. Oh, and James Nope here. Once again, Steve-O used to have a baby getting raped tattoo that he would display. Another reason to not watch Steve-O's podcast.
Yeah. Metaprime is in Odyssey saying, this is the tone of someone who knows they are lying and is so practiced at being pretentious. He knows he has to keep it up, but there's no real belief in what he's saying. I think that nails it.
Yeah, I was pulled up here on front. Metaprime is the tone. Also, it sounds like someone who is high on his own farts.
Milk Trucker here once again. Twink Pirate sounds like a good screen name. I appreciate the stream. I'm going to catch the rest in RSS feed. Love to have you, buddy. And Based and Red Snapper Pilled. I just like that username. That's an all-timer.
It says Bast and Red Snapper.
Bast and Red Snapper Pilled.
Yes.
I feel like getting a little bit dyslexic tonight. All right, let's go ahead with this fucking debauchery.
Fourth, and maybe the smallest group of people watching this video are people who are genuinely neutral, or maybe coming in with that.
No one's neutral. Anyone who watches any of us, they're not neutral. There's no like fucking dude with an acoustic guitar walking in. Hey, what's this? Blood Satellite? Let's pop that on.
Whoa. Hey guys.
Oh, hey guys, what's this?
Right on. You're talking about whoa. Now hold on a second. Is that the N word? Hey.
Playing his acoustic guitar at the computer as he's listening. Whoa, Phantom Time. Whoa, that's fucking crazy. Trudeau, what's he up to? Whoa, Nephilim were real.
Maybe this guy is real. I want to hang out with this guy.
Wow, fucking Bill Cosby is 20 feet tall. Just an old bit that we did. It's me, I was Cosby, I'm 20 feet tall. Okay.
No, please.
Fine to see what all the drama's about. Or maybe they're from the normie side of my audience. They don't engage with the drama and the community stuff that much. I don't know. This will probably be a weird one for them, but nonetheless, welcome. It's a pretty wide range of people as audiences go, but I'll do my best to explain things and go through all the drama in a way that's clear and straightforward, but also doesn't drag on too long. Now, without further ado, let's get to the content. We'll start with the absolute worst of it, the monstrously stupid argument that I made way back when I first started streaming that has since haunted me and irreparably tarnished my reputation.
Again, the eyes of a haunted man. Anyway.
Now, this clip is the one that I see cited most often when people are accusing me of being a pedophile.
Just loading here.
That's not even a little surprising to me, though. It sounds pretty bad. In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I get to hear a convincing moral or legal argument. That's why possession of child pornography should be illegal.
Let's just slow that down. I want to, I really wanted to hear that. Okay.
Too long. Now, without further ado, let's get to the content. Are accusing me of being a pedophile. That's not even a little surprising to me, though. It sounds pretty bad.
In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child pornography should be illegal. Actual child pornography.
Like I said.
So again, okay, I'm going to let him finish.
Pretty bad. This clip is from right after I started streaming, so a significant portion of my career as a live streamer has been spent providing context for the clip.
Just some more context. He hasn't been doing this that long. He says it like this is at the beginning of my career, like it was 25 years ago, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, this wasn't that long ago. You don't look that different. You just changed.
Speaking of experience, and what you've been doing since, as we mentioned before, part of what you've been doing since is practicing covering. Like he's saying it right now. So I've spent the last years defending this and excusing it over and over. So yeah, and that's why you sound very different now than you did then. Yeah. It's not that your opinions have changed. It's not that you're not a bad guy anymore. It's that now you've gotten really, really good at tricking people into thinking that you're not a psycho.
Quote, pragmatic culture here. Autistic British libertarians actually fulfill the role of the neutral observer. All right, so here.
Clip over and over to running joke in my community, like a rake that I'm cursed to keep walking into over and it hits me in the head. I often see people outside of my community, people who have seen this clip but not seen me address it, mock the idea that any context that I or anyone else could provide could possibly explain away something that sounds that bad. When they see me or my fans say that this or any other clip has been taken out of context, it comes across to them as an effort to shoo away legitimate suspicion, chastising people for having an opinion on something that looks bad. Like, you see a clip that looks bad of me, and then I or a fan of mine comes in and we're like, no, you need to familiarize yourself with like 50 hours of stream lore before you can have an opinion on that. I have seen people weaponize calls for context in that way, so I don't fault others for being like kind of
I was going to skip that because, again, he's just like fucking saying the same shit over again.
Angry from arguing with chat. However much of a debate bro I'm known for being today, I swear to God, I was so much worse back then. I wanted to construct an argument that would effectively and succinctly convey the severity of the problem, how intertwined human suffering is with the regular products that we buy and use every day. Shock.
Okay, so I'm going to stop there because he's going to make this argument repeatedly, and I think you would probably have some. We can get really boring and political here if you want, because the reason I wanted to show this video, and I think it's so important, is because while this is all very lurid and drama filled, by watching this video, you actually do get a pretty good understanding of Vaush's politics. You get a very good understanding of his ideology, because he looks try to still use these examples. What he's doing right now is still trying to justify that example. When you just watched it, yeah, I was expressed inelegantly. But what I was trying to do was show that if you are against, what he's saying is, if you're against child pornography, you need to be equally against child slave labor, right? Now, at first blush, that sounds reasonable. However, he'll give a couple examples. If I don't get to this clip, that's why I'm saying it now. He'll use like cobalt mines in Africa. And he'll say there's children working in cobalt mines. I actually just looked into it. There's not a lot of child slave labor that goes on within the trade production line of most of these cell phones. It's just a thing he fucking made up, right? He did no research. If you did research into this, you would know that it's not like child slave labor is an epidemic in mining. It's hard to get children to mine well because they're so fucking tiny. It's actually easier to get adult slaves. Now you could say slavery is bad, but he specifically says child slavery. So he makes up a fucking problem as an excuse to talk about child rape. And that is kind of what I'm trying to show here. It's that what he is saying to you is that what I'm trying to do is compare this thing everyone knows is important, which is child pornography, child rape, and compare it to something you don't think about, which is the production of your clothes. But what he actually does there is he normalizes child sex trafficking. What he does normalizes the child rape. It's like the flip side of that is you're okay with having a smartphone, so you should probably be okay with child pornography, right? That's the shadow cast by that argument that a lot of people don't think about. And again, he has not retreated from this point. All he has succeeded in doing is normalizing child pornography by saying it is as common and widespread as child labor in cell phones, which actually isn't fucking widespread at all. He did no fucking research into that. He made it up. The one thing he didn't make up was his excited example of child pornography, saying, no one has given me a valid moral reason. He meant what he said. Like, don't fuck, because again, I bet if you prompted him right now, I was like, what specifically about what you said you disagree with? And again, this sounds like I'm lecturing people, but you need to fucking grill these guys on the specifics, because they live in conjured mystical specifics that are meant to confuse you. Sorry, I think I cut you off there.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get to it here in a second when he, I'll save it for after you play the next bit of the clip where he gives the context that's supposed to exonerate him.
What a shitty shirt, too. Is this like a denim plus corduroy over a fucking...
That dark, clean denim with no hems on the edge is the reason that I refuse to wear denim jackets, even though denim jackets are like the white man's uniform.
You're Canadian.
I know, but I got to just wear the red plaid because I've seen too many fags wearing this type of denim jacket, and I'm like, I can't ever wear a denim jacket again now.
All right, so let's move on.
Value was essential because I needed to prove how edgy and daring I was. And speaking of shock value, an example already exists of something so inextricably tied up in human suffering that both its production and possession are illegal: child sexual abuse material. If we already know something that harmful should just be excised from society, couldn't we do the same for products that we know are made with child slavery at the very...
By the way, we do. So this is actually a problem. That's it's illegal. Companies work very, very hard to not incorporate those. If a bunch of African countries try and employ there's some stuff you can't.
Sometimes they sneak through. But I mean, to pretend as if society doesn't care and we don't have millions of dollars devoted to institutions to prevent this exact thing, you're fucking dreaming, you dumbass.
Yeah.
We probably, like a fair argument would be, we spend more money trying to stop child exploitation in foreign labor than we do to stop child abuse in our own soil. I think that's a good argument to make. I think we should spend, but there, I mean, here we are.
Just to give people a peek behind the scenes, and I work very hard not to dox myself on this issue, but let me just say that in the past, I'd worked in the nonprofit sector in a marketing capacity, and I'd worked with some nonprofits that were dealing with child sex trafficking around the world. Because there's a lot of nonprofits that actually try and tackle sex trafficking, even through regular social media. And the way they do it is they lead with sympathy. They lead with pedophiles are just, they're sick. No one wants to be attracted to children. So, but if we can get them before they commit a crime, we can actually help them. That's whether or not you agree with it or not, that's what they are doing. And I'll tell you right now, you get pushback from these governments. If you, as a Western nonprofit, if you go into India and say, we want to help, we've noticed that there's an epidemic of child rape in India. No one really talks about that. We kind of assume there is.
Yeah.
There is. You have no fucking idea how much child rape there is in India. The government will treat you like shit for saying it's a problem.
Yeah.
You can call bullshit on me all you want. I'm not trying to show documents and emails here, but you will get treated like shit by the Indian fucking government for implying that they have a problem with child sex, and multiply that across Africa, multiply that across about any country that is a hub of this.
Yeah.
The rot is so deep that you can't come in peacefully.
Yeah. Also, if you want to talk about child labor in India, I don't know about every industry, but I know specifically in agriculture, most of the big ag in India is all for export to Europe, and it's all Jewish owned. And they're mostly run they're greenhouse farms for high-end tomatoes and shit in European grocery stores. And it's all 11, 12, 13-year-old Indian girls who have been essentially sold to the company by their parents. That's just how that industry runs. So that's India for you. India and Israel together feeding Europe. Does that mean Europeans should stop buying tomatoes? I mean, maybe you should look at the source, but does that mean a European buying a tomato is a child rapist? No. What the fuck are you talking about?
And don't let this sociopath that's looking at you right now on the screen tell you otherwise. Is a fucking sociopath. And remember, he has not retreated from the example itself.
And I'll just say it now, but the problem is it's a reversible argument. You can do it either way, right? You can say, if you think child rape is bad, you better stop using your phone. No, what he's actually saying is the inverse, but he's trying to cover it. He's saying, well, you use your phone, therefore I should be allowed to rape kids. Yeah. Look at you, all of you using your phones. You're no better than me. You think you're better than me. All I do is rape kids. Look at you using that computer.
Well, also, he's like, I wanted to pick an edgy example. You know what's also an edgy example is adult slavery. What's all pedophilia is just one card in the deck of edginess you could have gone with. It wasn't the most. And remember, like I said at the start, Vaush wasn't known to actually be an edgy guy. Don't let him rewrite history. He didn't do race jokes. He didn't do gay jokes. He didn't do jokes about women or anything. It was just this one fucking thing that he kept doing, to the point where people are like, why do you keep doing this? It's a strange thing that you keep using this as an example for everything. He's talking about problems with capitalism. It's like, have you thought about child rape? It's like, no one does. It actually doesn't occur to most people unless you plant it there. And you planting it there is part of your sick fucking perversion.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Released. The parallel felt clear to me, and I wanted to really drive home the hypocrisy of the people arguing against me, who said you were downplaying.
The child rape is one thing, but the worst thing was the hypocrisy.
It's more of a comment, really.
It's more of a comment, really.
Yes, the issue with the whole child slavery intertwined in our, economy thing. So,
in fact, and it's going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument. That's why possession of child pornography should be illegal. Actual child pornography. For a hot fucking take. Now, to clarify on this take, as I feel it necessary to do so, we do not, in this country, typically criminalize people who have procured media or resources which were the product of abuse. It is not illegal to own necklaces that have slave diamonds, or whatever they call, or blood diamonds. Yeah, all of our clothes produced.
Just here's his context, but he also didn't know what they were called. So this is just him grasping wildly for examples. These aren't real examples.
It is illegal to import. They're not called slave diamonds. Diamonds are called blood diamonds, and you can't import blood diamonds.
It's like they are illegal. You fucking moron.
Yeah.
They've always been illegal.
Yeah.
You know where you could only buy them? You could only buy them from weird Jewish gem markets in New York.
Weird. Well, who would have imagined?
Yeah. But let's not go down that path.
By sweatshops are computers with silicon and lithium mined from literal fucking slaves. In our society, we have already deemed that people are not responsible for the mechanisms by which the media they consume and the content they engage with are produced. You like that argument? Ooh, you like that? You like that moral culpability? You're all worse than fucking CP owners, and I am too. Do you like that?
See, there you go. Do you like that argument? You are just like a child pornography owner. You're as bad as they are. There it is.
He came very close to just saying just like me, but he didn't say just like me. He said, and I am too. But like he's right up against it.
Yep. And see, this is the Vaush that he's tried to hide. This guy who's actually speaking his mind. It's not this sort of like assistant professor, sort of, you know, like a high school principal. Like, well, let me just, I would like to, and enunciates every T, enunciates every I. It's very manicured. This is fucking him. This profile view degenerate ranting about how you're all child rapists too. How does that feel?
Yeah.
That no ethical consumption under capitalism. Shit sucks, right? But if we accept that argument for slave labor, then we definitely have to accept it for child pornography.
Yeah, there you go. My dumb goal here was to spark indignant outrage, to make people who downplayed the immorality of unethical supply chains to reflect on the harm they were enabling.
So just for context here, he is just repeating that point and saying it's still a good point.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's still the bones of this argument he stands by.
He's equivocating, is what he's doing. He's equivocating. And again, equivocation goes in both directions. It can be, you know, you think you're doing no bad things, but look at this other bad thing. Or he could just be saying, I'm not that bad. You do bad things too.
Yeah, you think child porn's bad? Have you ever typed on a keyboard? Well, it's kind of the same thing.
It's the same.
Bluster and go, no, they're different. Child slavery is fine, actually. And look bad.
He's doing an impression of us. How does he know what we're saying?
You know, it was meant like an invective, like something like, it's punchy, it gets right through to people. Obviously, it didn't work. The only person I succeeded in making look bad was me, and that wasn't one of the goals. So, no, pretty bad. Because I really want to make sure that I'm being clear with my thoughts here, because I don't like being misunderstood, and being misunderstood kind of feels like my job sometimes. Just in case the bad logic of my brilliant little devil's advocate it's not coming across, let me give you an example. Imagine that I was a vegan back when I started my channel, and I was angrily arguing with my audience about the hypocrisy of America making animal abuse a felony, but also allowing millions and millions and billions of animals to spend their whole lives in torturous captivity before being slaughtered for meat. I'm flustered, and I want to make a point. So I start saying that, you know, hey, if we're all being morally consistent here.
He also could have just made that point.
Yeah.
And that's not even that good of a point, but I could see where you're getting at, because also people are pissed off at that.
He could have literally made that point. And also, again, equivocation, that's the same type of point you could make if you were someone who was advocating for animal abuse. It's like, yeah, I kick my dog, but you know how many cows are in cages and pumped full of hormones?
Yeah, you know who makes that exact same argument? Guys who are arrested for dog fighting.
Yeah.
I bet
like, give me a break. Have you seen these fucking
Vick's
chicken farms? You telling me I can't fight? I can't. And you know what? I fucking agree.
And also, it's like, have you seen those chicken farms? They haven't. As you will see, Vaush has never seen these things. Yeah. You know, it'd be like, have you seen these animal farms? Have you visited? Have you seen videos? No, you just heard someone mention a talking point, or one of your fans put it in a shared fucking Google Doc as a gotcha question, but you actually don't have any evidence of anything. None of these guys do. And that's the secret behind a lot of these streamers that people don't know. Even guys in our scene, at which some big names, they're always coming out with some really interesting, well-written stuff. They have chats that oftentimes write it for them.
It's valuable to point out that he's got no research, and that his chain of understanding here is essentially just a bunch of dumbasses in his Discord room, right? But I don't want to push too hard on the idea like, oh, well, the child abuse thing isn't even real. It is real. It is an issue. But I mean, it's bad for him that it is a real issue, because it's a real issue that people actually understand and have already worked their understanding into a hierarchy of like importance in their life, and they've put it way below child porn. So what you're doing is you're just straight up saying your hierarchy is wrong. This thing, a little bit of cobalt, maybe or maybe not in one component of an assembly in a phone, but maybe not even your phone, that's the same thing as literally using child porn. And the point is, the abuse, all of the terrible abuse that happened to those children in that cobalt mine has so fucking little to do with your phone, that for you to equivocate that with direct access to child porn, like one you know, what do you call that? One connection. Fuck, how do you say that? It's not like this was passed through many hands and it was cleaned and laundered. No, you got this from a child that was sexually abused. That's where it fucking came from. There is no laundering. There is no dividing up of the pain and suffering to other people. It's just fucking you, pal.
Yeah.
So
The transaction within child abuse is literally just producer with consumer. There is no
exactly
production
it's
chain.
producer to consumer. It's not like the child, like and then maybe I'm going to make a Vaush argument, but like imagine if child pornography was used and then sold, and the money from the child porn was used to make a magazine, and then the magazine was sold. If you bought the magazine, which was not a child porn magazine, I mean, you're paying somebody who's a child pornographer. You don't know that, but
You're
you are
participating, and that's what he's saying.
You're
There's no ethical consumption in capitalism. He says so. We're all guilty. He's basically
all guilty.
equating all transactions within the capitalist system with directly supporting child rape.
And again, as a communist, of course, you would say that. So it's like the whole idea that all of us are kind of anonymously interacting in this huge web of capitalism means we're all equally guilty, which again, back to his main thing, we know what he's actually saying. He's saying, yes, I'm the guy who raped the kid, but you're all just as guilty as me because none of you have had the balls to shoot me yet, which, not to blow my load here, but that's my theory. Like what I think you hit it earlier. He gets off on being hunted. He wants us to fucking hunt him. He wants us to attack him. He likes, that's why he made an hour and a 40-minute video after all his friends told him not to. He knows that we're all here watching this and critiquing it and calling him a fucking pedo. And he gets off on the idea that we're here at 10 o'clock at night thinking about how to fucking crush his skull. He loves it.
With the YouTube plaque behind him.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even have animal abuse laws, huh? Why protect animals at all, I would say? Since we're clearly so okay with them being tortured and killed in mass, why not be consistent and just do away with all animal abuse laws too, huh? Of course, in that example, I wouldn't...
Damn, you really got me there. All right, let's move on.
It's gotten thrown through the dishwasher a bit, as internet arguments go. The basic...
Right, let's move into this example of him.
You know, it wasn't until I brought it up in debate with Vegan Gains, a far larger YouTuber, that I...
Vegan Gains is another hilarious character to get into if you want to talk like psychos on who do shows.
Realized how people outside of my community bubble perceive the argument.
Pedophiles, right, who buy child pornography, would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes.
Really? Even though they're directly supporting child rape?
Yeah, I think it's hypocritical. If I
So him quite literally addressing the point we just made.
Yeah.
So him saying, yeah, no, but that direct transaction is the exact same as buying an ear of corn from an old lady whose boots were manufactured in a factory in Eastern Europe that might have been paid for by child sex trafficking.
So, and what he just said, it's important to just zoom in on that response. Vegan Gains asked him, he said, should a pedophile who buys child porn, not makes child porn, a pedophile who buys child porn, should they be held responsible? And his immediate response, without thinking, totally confident response was, no, they should not, because it's hypocritical. So
didn't even think about it for a second. Didn't go,
exactly.
Good question.
A minute ago, he said this whole equivocation thing is just a rhetorical device for me to prove to all of you that yes, child porn is bad, but these other things are bad. And we should punish all of these things. But here he's proving which side of the argument he's on. He's saying, you're not allowed to punish me for buying child porn. To me, this is an admission that he buys child porn.
Yes.
You're not allowed to punish me for buying child porn because all of you are equally guilty for buying cell phones that are made with cobalt from child slavery.
And right, just to remind people who might have lost the plot a bit, he was caught in possession of child pornography.
And this is the reason the video has been made, is because he literally was caught in possession of child porn. Yeah.
Yeah. And just again, I'm going to get ahead of myself in case we don't get to this clip, because there's a lot to go and we might get to it. The excuse that he makes for this pornography is a pedophile's excuse. So I'm not very well versed in this. I don't know much about this sector, but he had said that, but I know this is a meme where the guy says, actually, they're not children. They're a fantasy creature. Right. So I think the quote was, and maybe we'll get to it here, but he was saying, oh, they're not children. They're goblins. It's like short stack porn. And like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Don't say you know. I don't know. No one knows. No one knows what quote short stack pornography is. Apparently, what it is, it's a way to exist the gray area of child porn. So it's like, oh, she's not a child. She's actually 4,000 years old within the lore of the manga or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, it's a goblin. But what is a goblin? It's a small, skinny, hairless creature that is humanoid in shape.
Yeah.
It's just a way to draw a fucking kid. That's what it is. And he's like, no, you don't get it. No, but he is so deep into his fetish. And this is how you know it's not an accident. He's so perverted that he thinks that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
It's not a kid. It's just like this thing that was drawn to look like a kid because I'm just into goblins. No, you're not. You're not into monsters unless the monster looks like a
Nobody's
type
into
of
goblins.
human.
The goblin is the goblin aesthetic is the price you pay for not going to prison. It's the sacrifice you're willing to make to have your CP and not go to prison. Yeah.
Imagine like an actual child rapist saying that, like he gets caught with like captives. Like, I thought they were 4,000 years old. She told me she was from the time of Ptolemy. Like, what do I know? I don't know who's fucking ancient. I feel bad even laughing about that. I'm sorry, but I shouldn't set up bits where it's like a child sex trafficker getting caught. That's bad. Anyway.
I bought my computer, and the silicon in it was farmed in Africa by slaves. If I can do that, and that's legal, and no one's going to call me out on my shit, then yeah, I have to be consistent in that respect.
Look, I think there's levels to this. So I didn't equate buying a computer to...
Oh, sorry. I apologize for stopping so much. These guys talk about consistency a lot when it comes to ideology. They're completely fine being inconsistent when it comes to Hassan Piker, everyone's favorite POC socialist, having $1 million mansion and spending all of his money on fucking drugs and whores and swimming pools. Then it's fine to be
the son of one of the wealthiest men in Turkey. Like he's the nephew or something. But the point is, he was born into like for Turkey, just insane wealth. The kid is an absolute trust fund kid. That's how he made it into the US in the first place. Hasn't worked a day in his fucking life. So he's the pinnacle of champagne socialism.
Yeah. And so this is what's so great about being our side of the political spectrum. I don't actually care about consistency. I don't care. I don't care. It's like you said this about this person, but not that person. Yeah, I like that person. I don't like that person. I'm not going to give them rights. You don't get rights if I don't like you.
Yeah, that's how it works. It's called property.
Sorry, you don't get rights. That's what I say when I'm about to like throw someone into a burning pit. I say, "Oops, you don't have any rights. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you don't have any rights. Bye."
Buying child pornography. I mean, it's in order to pretty much have a job anymore, you need a computer. So do you really think it's reasonable to equate something like buying something that might cause some amount of cruelty exploitation in the world that you need for your job, just to be able to like not be homeless, to something that you're buying purely for very shallow personal pleasure that causes horrible, irreparable damage to somebody lifelong?
I mean, we can actually like partition it out. I don't know how much child pornography goes on the market these days. I haven't exactly checked. But
yeah, you did.
Liar.
Yeah, you do. You know. I don't know. I don't know what this is. Well,
what a oddly specific thing to say.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet that the total amount of suffering that goes into the child slaves that mine out like the silicon in Africa, you know, in terms of me supporting that industry, I mean, that's pretty bad. And I didn't have to buy a computer this big. I could have bought something smaller.
You did,
I could have bought a little.
Okay,
look at that.
For people who didn't follow that, he made the claim, and we're going to see how much of this claim he walks back. He's making the claim that owning that computer, the suffering, the accumulated suffering in manufacturing that computer from children is more than the aggregate of all child rape videos out there.
Yeah.
I
still bought it, and he's right here recording on it. And then he wants to
thunderstruck.
And then he wants to stand there and tell you that he doesn't buy child porn.
I didn't watch his reaction to this, but I'm wondering if he's going to be there looking with his women's frames like, yikes, that was a big one. What I was trying to get at was, and then just literally repeat the exact same point. Let's see. Oh, someone wrote, who we got here? Anthony Chemin, weird lobe. He does have a weird lobe.
Yeah, he's got a Polish Jew lobe.
I think he's also a guy who had spacers at one point. He seems like a guy who had like, there's another clip in here where it's all bandaged up as well. So something fucking happened there. I don't know, but people who got weird ear things, that's the type of physiognomy I think we need to put that one up on the board.
Yeah.
He's got weird ear shit going on.
Weird ears.
Chromebook. You know, I don't wonder how many more hours slaves had to mine up that silicon to justify me being able to own this. But I'd go with the two: clothing I wear, put together by slave shop work or sweatshop workers. Sorry, glasses, like everything. And if you wanted to step beyond the slavery element, like all of the stuff that I buy, it goes towards corporations. I believe that wage slavery is unethical. The exploitation of workers, everything.
So just to be clear, he's also equating child rape to wage slavery.
Yeah,
you buy contributes to that, unless you're buying from a co-op.
Okay, well, look, there are, like, I think we could both agree that reducing suffering in the world is a good thing, correct? Even if you can't get rid of all of it at once?
It's always a good thing to reduce suffering, yes.
It's again, just from a political standpoint, maybe I'd like to hear what you think about this. I don't think it's a good idea just to reduce suffering as much. I think that would be a common refrain.
What's wrong with suffering?
Sometimes people deserve suffering. Sometimes suffering is in the interest of
suffering can be productive. Suffering is necessary sometimes. The whole, I mean, look, I think I'll tell you this right now. I think maybe a majority of the problems in our society, specifically Western civilization, are a result of a concerted effort to reduce suffering. You do not want to reduce suffering. Like, don't fix something if you don't know how it fucking works. Suffering has a function. Maybe, is that too Protestant? I don't know. Suffering's useful.
Oh, we got James up here. Equating child rape to earning a living is a bold move, really. Yeah, let's see if it pays off for him.
To me, that I needed that kind of external confirmation to understand how bad it looked, how bad the argument was. But I have a very low opinion of the me in a lot of these older clips. It just makes me look fucking stupid, to be honest. As you know, as it turns out, when you're talking to other people and making arguments about ethical labor or labor laws or whatever, engaging in this kind of argument doesn't make people want to, you know, they don't get like blustered and confront you in a debate about labor laws. It makes them want to call you a pedophile, obviously. So yeah, that's the explanation for the argument. Like I said before, it does reflect really poorly on me, but only in regard to my intelligence and character, not any sort of paraphilia. The clip is from very early on in my career. I think the original stream VOD was actually lost when my Twitch channel was first
trust me, bro.
The argument was. But I have a very low opinion of that clip. I don't know who made this. I hope they're doing well.
None of it is, yeah, I agree. None of it is ethical. But we've already made this social decision that people are not responsible for the systems by which the stuff they own is produced. We've already made that decision. You're right. You're kind of revealing your power level. No, this is exactly what I fucking mean. I'm right, but I'm revealing my fucking pedo power level because I'm right. No, this is a moral inconsistency in society. The answer should be that all of these things are bad.
Hopefully that makes what I was doing there a little more clear, even if the way I chose to do it was really, really stupid. So there you go.
Again, didn't sound like he's backed away from the point. He's like, oh, that's a clip, but you know.
He was comfortable putting that in because at the end of it, he says, the answer is all of these things are bad. Well, I mean, you can say that, dude. You can say whatever you want, but you're the one equivocating all of it, which none of us agree with. Like, everyone disagrees with you, dude. And on top of that, because you believe this, you should be the one leading the charge of like not using a computer and a phone and not wearing cotton that wasn't grown locally from a co-op. Like, if you're the one who believes all this shit and you don't do it, then you're definitely a pedophile. It doesn't matter what you say. And then at the end of it, he's like, at the previous one, he's saying, oh yeah, well anyways, he essentially said it was a trust me, bro. He's like, don't worry about any of that. I was such an idiot. It definitely does not reflect on any kind of paraphilia. Like, okay, and why does it not? Everything about it reflects on your paraphilia. Everything. It's 1,000 red flags at once. And you're just telling us to believe you that it doesn't. Like,
I want to skip ahead to this clip here. He did a debate with an individual by the name of Mr. Girl, who is someone I hope reaches a
bigger psycho,
a painful end sometime this year. I don't know. I'm not saying it nothing about nothing, but
maybe by Christmas. That'd be super.
If I read a headline that he was ripped apart by dogs, it would be a good day. He is the embodiment of what many women would call the ick.
Apply to all social critique. If I said that America has a problem with racism, for example, hypothetically, if you could imagine such a world, does that mean I'm projecting my own racism just innately? Here's an example of this exact thing happening live quite recently.
The average American man would be most attracted to. Which hypothetical strip club would be the...
This is Mr. Girl, by the way, and that's Ethan Klein watching him, who, you know, we're no friends of Ethan Klein here, but whatever.
Most crowded if they all open tomorrow?
I think it would be somewhere from 14. No, I think it'd be somewhere from 14 to 17. I don't think we've
This motherfucker, wants to fuck 14-year-olds. Okay. That is a child.
What a crazy clip. That guy I'm talking to in that clip, Mr. Girl, is, well, if he's not a pedophile, he does an amazing impression of one. I'll say that much. And he spent that entire goddamn debate.
Well, why is that? Well, because he actually didn't get caught with child pornography and you did. So,
being a creepy piece of shit to me, asking me weird fucking questions. I think when he first got on call, he wanted to talk about how he thought he could have debated Hitler out of doing the Holocaust. You know, it started funny crazy like that, but over time it just got creepier and creepier, and eventually I just kicked him from the call in disgust. He's one of the reasons that I don't have a debating all comers policy anymore. You know, you got to filter some of these people. So, all right, where's the context, right? Well, here's a clip from that debate of Mr. Girl asking me that question the first time.
Here's a thought experiment. I'm gonna open a string of strip clubs in Los Angeles.
Already, I do not like this hypothetical, but okay. I want to show you this because I just want to give you a taste of how insane these people are. But watch this. You're gonna watch it right to the end here because you're gonna know where it's going, but you gotta stick with it too.
Vegas. It's gonna be called Mr. Girl's Whatever You Want Emporium. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in one strip club, the strippers are 25, 24, 23, 22, all the way down to infants. But each strip club, and this is a sovereign state, so there's no laws. In each club, everyone is the same age. Okay, so if you want to watch babies crawl around, or you want to watch 100-year-olds, we'll start at 100. So basically everybody, and everybody all the women on the planet have to work here. My question is, in America now, which club do you think would be the most popular if this were to open tomorrow?
In a sovereign state adjacent to America.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, there's no one, identities are, there's no issues of social ostracization. Nobody knows, everybody's wearing whatever disguises.
The closest argument you could make there, I think, is from European literature from ye olden days, and it seems like predation against girls spiked up around like 14 to 16. So if you could, if all the degenerate sex tourists,
yeah, looking around you at America now. I want you to base this just on your.
Jeez, okay, I said a positive. This is what pedophiles fucking talk about. Like hypothetically, if everyone had to work in a strip club based on age, like just. What do you want to say is that everyone wants to fuck 14-year-olds. That's what he's trying to say.
This is two pedos with different levels and understanding of OPSEC talking publicly, and one of them is like, "Can you shut the fuck up?"
Yeah, the only evidence I have would be a ye old England. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
guy who's sounds like he's never read a thing.
Look, he did say ye olden days, didn't he?
Yeah, he said that's a great way to talk about history. It's like, you know, back in ye olden days. He's got a real Renaissance fair command.
Went to the Peppa Pig School of History.
Yeah. I'm gonna skip ahead here because here's the Discord screenshots. This is a good one because a lot of this like strange shit is based off of stuff he had said in his private Discord servers. Hurry up. Come on.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, my presence online dates back way farther than the creation of my channel, which means people interested in finding examples of me saying stupid shit have a pretty wide range of material to choose from. Before I had a channel or was even known as Vaush, I was a frequent and notorious...
Again, it's just not to belabor the point here, but he always uses the word stupid. Stupid and dumb, but not morally wrong. Like, if I found someone had evidence of something I had said when I was fucking 21, an edgy post, where I made a child rape joke, I would say, I condemn that. I don't stand for that at all. I don't know where my mind is at, but I would let anything I could do to make up for that. You know, like I would treat it with the sort of moral abhorrence that I think would be owing of that. He's just saying like it was a whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Like I said some dumb shit like we all do. And that's sort of the tone is like, yeah, we all do this. No, we fucking don't.
Yeah.
No one does this.
It's just you.
And this is the thing perverts love. Any stripe of pervert wants any like the Albert Kinsey types where it's like, oh, everyone's a fucking degenerate. Everyone's been molested. No, they haven't.
Yeah.
You just spoke to degenerates and your entire circle is degenerates.
It's also interesting. Like he's got to be about the same age as us, right? Because he's saying, oh, back in the day, I was such an idiot. I said such dumb things. It was like less than 5 years ago. We've been running this show for 5 years. I can't think of anything in the show that I would not stand by. If anything, I'm frustrated with my older self for not being able to, you know, like expand on and like have the context or you know, be well read enough on the topics that I wanted to talk about. But never can I look back and be like, oh, that was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, dude,
I'm a grown man. Like 5 years ago, I was still already a grown man. I'm like, you're not 22. You're not 18.
You're still in the window of being just an adult man. That's a good point. If anything, just for comparison's sake, we've gotten far worse. If you go listen to old episodes, you'll hear some embarrassingly fair and sensible things. Like we might, we back then we were saying shit like we can vote our way out of problems.
We were polite and reasonable.
Now,
And that
now
was
I'm
the
like,
problem. I'm sorry to everyone. I'll probably have to apologize till the day I die at how polite and reasonable we once were. But we've changed our ways.
yeah.
And
Now,
we
now I'm
are
just
inflammatory.
now I'm like, hey, you know that book Childhood's End? We should just do that. We should reduce, like, get alien, like, or like fucking the 3 body problem. Like, we should do that. We should just do the 3 body problem.
Blow up Earth.
So you want to blow up Earth? No, be Chinese. I keep reaching for the same fucking drop.
Be a shit poster in the community of a streamer called Destiny. I know, that's why I am the way I am. I had been in his community for a long time, really long, and I really enjoyed the edgy, irreverent, debate lord culture of his Discord server. So let's look at some of the stupid, edgy, irreverent shit I said 6 years ago there that people have since screenshotted out of context.
I wonder how much of it's going to be about child sex. Let's see. And horse penises.
Of calling me a pedophile. So this is a perfect example of context being maliciously stripped from a screenshot in order to look bad, even though I'm right and it's not even controversial. You know, I'm uncontroversial.
This is taken into context, even though I'm right. So let's just, I'm going to let him explain it here.
Controversially right, I hope. The conversation was about media and LGBT representation. Here's the gist of it. So coming of age stories are really common. You know, like a young person, they go on an adventure, they meet people they like, maybe they fall in love, they slay a dragon, whatever. Really, really, really common type of story. One of the main types of stories, even. And one of
also, another example of him not giving a single example of what he's talking about, but whatever. It's not like this was pre-recorded and planned. It's not like this was fucking a video essay where you could actually just drop in examples or put a fucking image there. Anyway.
The biggest culture war talking points back in 2017, and I guess still now today, is that kind of story is weird and pedophilic, and I guess the modern term would be groomery. I don't know. If the protagonist isn't straight, right? So their argument was, you know, you can have a story where a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a girl and everything's fine. But if a young man goes on a journey and falls in love with a guy, then it's weird and it's gross and it's different, and that's sexualizing them because young people can be straight, but they can't be gay, you know, because that's weird. That means they've been
just for the record, yes, you can be straight and you shouldn't be gay. If that wasn't clear, listen to this. It might sound like he's making a preposterous, bombastic point, but I'm pretty sure those words have left our mouths.
You know what though, this one is interesting to me, and this kind of stuck in my craw because this is to me, this is actually a gotcha. He got us, or not us, but he got fucking contards, because I've seen that argument. I've heard that argument in my family when you see gay paused AIDS shit in kids cartoons and they're like, why are they sexualizing children? It's like, Dad, the problem isn't that they're sexualizing kids. It's not sexual. Like a Disney movie where 2 12-year-old girls fall in love and they don't even kiss. Like I find it hard to believe that's sexualizing them. The problem with it isn't the sex. There's no sex. The problem is it's fucking gay, but you won't say that because you're in the liberal framework still, right? So he's seized on that and he's attacking contards and saying, well, you know, you people are criticizing gay Disney movies for sexualizing kids, but every Disney movie ever has had a sexual plot regardless of the age. Is like, he's fucking right. Old Disney movies used to have plots with young characters who would fall in love. Is that a sexual plot? No, it's fucking not. Is Cinderella a movie about sex? Is Snow White about sex? No, it's about love and relationships. Of course, a communist liberal can't distinguish between love, relationships, and sex. Obviously, like, of course, what do we expect from him, right? But he is right that conservatives will pick on this and say the problem with gay shit in our films is sex. It's not. It's kind of like conservatives saying the problem with racism is they're trying to divide us. They're not trying to divide us. They're trying to exterminate whites. It's not the same thing. It's like he's actually right, but he's just using the rightness to cover for the fact that he's a fucking pedophile.
I'm sorry. It's not the case that whites and blacks just get along absent, you know, fucking Menace to Society or Juice or any fucking movie that they watch. It's just, I think that seems to happen. But yeah, that's. I don't want to keep repeating that point because you made a very good argument. I'll just keep playing.
abused or whatever. That's the argument that I was pressing against, you know, and hopefully everyone watching understands it's a ridiculous and homophobic and, you know, irrational argument. It's a stupid double standard.
No, it is homophobic.
It's
but
homophobic, yeah. But
it is
correct.
rational. Like
Because contards won't stand behind their own homophobia. They're afraid of their own homophobia. We're not afraid of. I'm not afraid of gays. Gays are harmless. I hate them. They're not harmless. I mean, they rape kids. That's the reason I hate them. So I hate gays. I want to destroy them. I'm going to get rid of them. So it's not a fear thing. So yeah, it is an anti-gay position. The problem with it is that conservatives won't take the position. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they're not sexualizing it. If I see two gay men kissing, I just want to spring with a fire hose.
Yeah,
not to get them wet.
Just fucking throw a glass at his head.
To blast them into a haunted forest. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's not even because they rape kids. I just think it's yucky. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see fucking Persian rug stores.
The only
one per city.
The only video of gay romance in a forest that I want to see is the live leak of the two men that you just blasted into that forest being chased by an eldritch horror.
Being chased by an old witch, and then they try to befriend the witch because it's in the nature of gay men to collect hags.
But that's what I was pushing back against. You know, the exploring sexuality there in that context means it being incorporated as a plot element, like in every story, right? The Last Airbender, Aang likes Katara. Spoilers. That's sexuality. That's heterosexuality,
No,
I believe, is the
it's
term.
not. No, it's not, dumbass. That's not sex. That's not exploring sexuality. That's normal human relations.
And this is something, yeah, this is something
corollary to that
nefarious
is
too.
There's so many things related to this. It's the same. It touches on the idea of like, can men and women have normal platonic friendships? No, it's not possible. I'm sorry, we're not built that way. You cannot. Every relationship between a man and a woman has a sexual element, but at the same time, it's not sex in the sense that you as a degenerate communist view sex. It's sex as in the differences between the genders create a dynamic. I don't know how else to describe it, but like you're talking about boys and girls on the playground without being told. Boys, when they're 7, think girls have cooties. Why don't they think boys have cooties? Because they fucking know there's a difference between the genders. So like, is boys thinking girls have cooties on the playground a sexual exploration? I mean, according to Vaush, I guess so. Yeah, but what it is it's an exploration of the natural biological differences between genders in the human species. That's what it actually is.
This is a degenerate's trick. And it's a trick that everyone should be aware of because you will encounter it all the time, especially with socialists. It's the leveling of all these things and we've seen this throughout the video. So, you know, for people like us, we would obviously not silo these ideas, but we understand there is romance over here and there's sexuality over here. Now they're adjacent and they're connected, but we understand that a romantic expression is distinct from just sheer sexuality. Right. But to people like him, they want to level those things equally. So, you know, hypothetically, if there was, and this is the problem with a lot of actual gay romance stuff, is that they do over sexualize it because they are gay. That there is more lurid descriptions of sexual acts or implied acts, where with a heterosexual, they could just be like a kiss and you know, it's love. It's very spiritual. But with gay stuff, it's very animalistic. And it's more about the act, dancing around the act of sodomy. And you'll see that even in young adult books. So there's all these double entendres. There's way more double entendres than you would see in a straight book because the romance can stand on its own. It can't stand on its own for degenerates. So they want to take a description of a ballroom dance and fucking anal sex depictions and put those side by side. It's like, yeah, it's all sexuality. It's like, it's all gender. It's all the same thing. There's no difference.
Here's one for you. Rush Hour 3 is an exploration of gay sexuality because it's two men bouncing off of each other's Jackie Chan and Chris Rock bouncing off of each other's culturally different masculinity and saying, no, I do not want to fuck this guy. So and the exploration results in a great buddy comedy, better than the second one, probably.
One of the best.
So, yeah, one of the best. That's great. We have 2 copies on DVD.
One of America's best.
It's been...
Let's keep going.
For, you know, in Teen Titans, Robin, like Starfire, not Raven, right? Starfire, whatever, like normal.
Let me just say this: it does not help the argument that he isn't a pedophile that he has so much knowledge of children's cartoons.
Yeah, again, he's almost the same age as us. So like, this is shit that when this was out, fuck, we would have been in our late 20s. This is not that old, is it? I don't even know these fucking characters.
Yeah, look, I'm a straight man, so the only cartoons I know are Reboot and Beast Wars,
Batman Beyond,
and Eek the Cat.
Eek the Cat. Okay.
My hard drive. is full.
Rugrats.
You see, you're getting dangerous. You're tap dancing on a.
No, I'm just talking
board.
about shit that was on the air when I was actually TV watching age, which is what, like 6 to 12. You know what I mean?
Got? Real Monsters.
Real Monsters. There you go. So, Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold had the fucking thing with Arnold and Helga, and it was like this weird. I would say that almost approaches a sexual dynamic because it's the dynamic you would expect from a grown man and a grown woman. Like she's kind of critiquing him and nagging him, but he's always trying to find a solution. It's almost pro-masculine the way that they interact in that show. But again, would I say this is sexualization of kids? No, that's fucking ridiculous. It's a boy, an 11-year-old boy with a friend who's a girl, and she natters at him and he says, "Get lost." Like that's it. What the fuck?
And what's another entry in the long and storied file of Judas dragging me away from a discussion of Reboot?
I'm sorry, bud. I know you love it. You know what I will say? Reboot was in the later seasons way too sexualized. I would not let my kid watch it.
You know what?
They brought
the
mermaid. They brought the mermaid chick in. I forgot her name, to be like Enzo's girlfriend when he was like 13, and that was cute. That was like, oh, they're made for each other. They're so cute together. And then the next season, they're like 23 and like always grabbing each other's ass and like licking each other's neck and shit.
She got her
tits out,
titties
like,
hanging out, her
dude.
ass fucking blowing out of her pants.
And I can almost see that as one of these reboot things where it's like, hey, the audience is grown up. Let's give some of those boys what they want. Like, it's been a year. I'm now 13 instead of 12. Like, I guess you're not wrong that I want to see it, but my dad does not want me watching this. So.
Which is true. That's how I felt transitioning to a 13-year-old. I'm like, I got an eye patch. I got a gun. I'm trying to look up reboot images. We gotta get back to this. I'm sorry. We're gonna get in the weeds on this.
Uncontroversial. Homophobes will say like, oh, well, actually, it's bad if it's, if young people can be. Gee, when I was that age, could have used me.
Okay, here, I skipped ahead here. I'm going to read this Discord message. Someone named I Enjoy Waffles, which sounds pedophilic as well, said, I fucked an adult as a minor. And he says, unironically hot. It's going to take a lot of, it's going to take a lot to explain that.
I think we've said the same thing in our chat.
I don't think we have.
Haven't we? Not to specific people in the chat, but I mean, every time, and I think he's making the argument that I'm just observing.
Jamie, cut this.
Hold on. No, really, think about it. Every time somebody sends a news article that's like hot 22-year-old brunette teacher sleeps with 14-year-old student, and half of the comments are wood. Like, and I think this cuts to this idea that like, now we're getting into it's the whole child abuse thing, but like, there's a gender.
I see where you're going. I do see
a gender difference. And again, I didn't want to litigate this tonight. I'm just telling you, I think we've all seen it. I'm not condoning it, but we've all seen it. There is a tendency for grown men at the point is we're in our 30s. Look at that 25-year-old. Fuck, she looks nice. Damn, I would have fucked her when I was 16. That's kind of the joke, right? So,
and they will say you're not being consistent, to which I would say, well, I am consistent in the sense that I see men and women are different.
Right.
But,
exactly.
Anyway, we'll continue.
Me some of that. And basically like the thing they do where they downplay and trivialize the sexual abuses of the teacher because they personally think it would have been cool if they could have slept with their hot teachers back when they were.
It's like he's listening to our show. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes.
14. And yeah, when I was 14, I also wanted to fuck my hot teachers, obviously. But 14-year-olds are idiots. Their interests, desires, and preferences shouldn't really.
What was that?
He was normal once.
Be accounted as a solid moral argument to anything. So this screenshot isn't really missing any context. It actually is shitty, but I've since come around on this and I'm doing controversial topics through inane hypotheticals, made us cool and smart. Wow, good.
So just going to read his thing here. It says the message he had sent was, the way I see it, the age of consent. And I'm going to be honest with you. Anytime I hear the word age of consent, I know there's going to be some shit coming at me. No one has an age of consent discussion in the past 10 years where it's not nasty. Okay. The way I see it, the age of consent exists out of respect for the numerous power imbalances older people have over younger people. Now, this is a Marxist power dynamics sort of argument here. As those imbalances, at least some of them, are redressed through the advent of socialism, the age of consent should therefore be lowered. Now, that's okay. Previous message aside, I am curious to see how he explains this one away, because this is my issue with elite theory guys as well, and we were discussing this. There was a recent conflict between good friend people who've been on the show before, Hapa Perspective being one, and Endeavor from Morgoth's Endeavor got into a debate about Second Amendment rights. And Endeavor was making an elite theory argument. I won't litigate that whole thing here, but what I notice about elite theory guys, and I include academic agent in this, is they tend not to give a lot of deep historical examples, or at least I haven't heard it. And when they speak of power, they speak of power just as this sort of upper echelon thing that just these people, like there's just a powerful people. But power dynamics are actually very complicated. And some of them are ideologically driven. Even elites go to war with each other. There's many different strata of society. If you look at your average society, like there's power centers and cores of power that are kind of rebalancing each other all the time. So for him to talk about like, oh, there's imbalances, we'll just rebalance the imbalances. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? How do you rebalance power between a child and an adult? Like, that's an insane thing to say. And to believe that's even possible implies to me that you have considered a world where, oh yeah, of course children can have sex if we like educate them more. That's kind of what he's saying. Like, if we educate children about sex, then we can do it, which is why this is happening in society, which is why children in sex ed classes gets lowered and lowered, because there's fucking perverts at the wheel here thinking that, oh, if we teach them how to say no, then when they don't say no because they're fucking kids, they don't understand these sorts of transactions, then that I'm off scot-free. I can do whatever I want. That's what they fucking think. That's the only reason a type of person makes this sort of argument without getting into the details of what the power imbalances are.
Yeah.
That's my belief anyway. Okay.
Good thing that didn't carry forward into my streaming career. I think my logic was, no, I know what my logic was. It was that the idea that economic disparities are a primary element of the power imbalance between adults and minors, and that removing that imbalance through total economic equality would rectify a part of the power imbalance. It's a stupid argument. I definitely don't agree with it. I probably didn't agree with it like very shortly after I made it, because I was arguing about it. It's pretty easy to poke holes in that one, I gotta say. Economic disparities are present in couples of literally every age, right? The power imbalance between adults and minors is more developmental and social. So the argument was stupid and meaningless, yes, but you have to understand that to the mind of the terminally online debate bro, the hotter and less necessary the take, the cooler you are for making it. Great stuff. I've done myself nothing but good service in the pursuit of all these excellent arguments that needed to be had.
So it sounds like that's the first point I've seen so far that he actually tried to step back.
He walked it back, yeah.
So
but it's interesting because he walked back this specific iteration of his belief system, but not his belief system, because his belief system does still hinge entirely on power dynamics and hierarchy.
That is interesting, because if you believe that, then it seems to imply that this socialism project could not work, because if you are conceding that there are certain power imbalances that can never be redressed, even as he said, between adults, between men and women, it's like, well, then
what about the smart and the dumb? What black and white? What about men, like exactly men and women? Like, so you're saying there's a biological power difference that can't be addressed between the young and the old. I mean, well, there it is. I guess you're dissing it right now.
Yeah, I guess you're with us now. So I'm just trying to look at some okay, so let's see here. Some of the chat here. Trad Dad, who's a very he likes commenting on our videos. Vaush, the midwit foot soldiers of Judeo-Christian liberal democracy. We got Mutzumwhat saying gas in front. I don't know what that means. That's got to be some kind of crazy number thing.
Just a weird.
I think that's it for the Discord screenshots that I can meaningfully add context to. Like ones that I think are substantive enough to warrant any kind of explanation. The others are fake, like faked, like photoshopped or whatever, or so insubstantial that addressing them feels pointless. I want to.
That's interesting. Like, there's some that are just faked and photoshopped. Like, which ones? I kind of got to see them. I got to see what a photoshopped one looks like, because my suspicion is those are the worst ones.
Yeah. The ones that he's willing
you
to
an
flat out deny. It's possible that the photoshopped ones are real, and there are so many people that were there and are vocally claiming that they are real that he had to make this video just to as a smokescreen to say, look at all this stuff I'm willing to admit to. But these ones are photoshopped. Don't worry about those.
Yeah. I always ask the same question, like, well, who photoshopped them? Because they will say Kiwi Farms. No one photoshops shit there. Like someone like him, there's a wealth, a treasure of fucking
You don't need to Photoshop.
screenshots. Yeah. No one fucking need to. Like what about it is Photoshop? If it's so extreme, show us and we can laugh at it, right?
Can't you pull like Discord records? Like, wouldn't he be able to actually go up in the dates shown in the Photoshop and just show that his record, you know what I mean? I don't know how Discord works. I don't use Discord. But like in a chat, you can go back and like what was said on that date at that time.
It seems like it'd be an easy thing to disprove.
It'd be an easy thing to disprove, yeah.
Example of what that so often looks like, though. So here's one so stripped of text that I don't even remember what the conversation was about. Yeah, I see so many
What did pedos ever do to you? All right.
attacks against me substantiated by evidence like this stuff so insubstantial you would have to already dislike me to buy into it. Leaving aside the fact, like, if you're screenshotting a message so selectively that you remove not only literally all the surrounding information, but the image exclusively contains a single sentence. I mean, Jesus, like if that's the standard for making a person look bad, you can make anyone look bad. Like it's incredibly easy to make people look bad if that's the standard.
Now, just to let's speculate here. Like, let's think of ourselves. If something like that emerged about us, my response to that would be, "What did pedos ever do to you?" I'm like, "That's silly. I want to kill pedos. We should kill all pedos." Like, if I see something like that, I need to assert unquestionably that, okay, that's taken out. God, you know me. You know I fucking hate pedos.
We spend so much time apparently risking imprisonment by talking about how much we hate pedophiles. So
it's like I would go, I'd be, guys, you gotta understand, like, I fucking hate them. He is not willing to say that, I don't think, because throughout this entire video, I actually don't hear a condemnation of pedophilia or pedophiles. Maybe it'll be at the end, but I would lead with that. I would say I resent these people, but I bet if you were to ask his real opinion, he would say they're the real victims.
Yeah.
But the one sentence that remains is literally a stock joke. It's wry sarcasm, you know, like oh wow, what did Benito Mussolini ever do to you? Wow, what did arsonists ever do to you? Wow, someone got murdered in your town and you think that's bad?
Well, because now you would actually need to explain, like, what did so you're implying that pedos did something to you. Well, what do pedos do? I know what I would say. I would say pedos prop up this despicable industry of child abuse. That's why I hate them. That's what they do to me. Implicitly, they do to me. They make me afraid for my children.
Yeah.
That affects me every single fucking day of my life. That's what pedos do to me. So you actually need to, if you're being ironic or you're being wry and reverent, now is the time to say what you understand pedophiles do to you. But it sounds like you're saying pedophiles don't do anything to you. So that wasn't a fucking joke, was it? You moron, you fat idiot.
Yeah.
Hold on there, buddy. What did murderers ever do to you? Like, the joke only works if the person making it assumes everyone present already knows the group being referred to as bad. Nobody actually says that when they're defending a group, like, sincerely, you know? Like nobody, it's a stock joke. I don't want to be annoying by overstating this, but attacks against me are given a lot of perceived legitimacy by the sheer volume of evidence. But if you actually...
I just want to clip that. It's like, these attacks are given legitimacy by the sheer volume of evidence. I mean,
if you look into that volume, a lot of it is just nothing. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see some gigantic ultimate compilation of evidence against Vaush with 100 links. And then you look into them and fully, like 90% of those links are just nothing, sheer filler, completely meaningless. But to everyone else, it might as well be 100 bulletproof accusations because they're never actually going to look at them. I'm not just saying that.
It's hard to find anything that has like 100 pieces of evidence, though.
The other thing is we don't need.
There's probably not 100 pieces of evidence that prove that we're Canadian. If he's got 100 pieces of evidence that show that he's a fucking pedophile, that's staggering.
We only need one to put you in prison, and we only need a fraction of one to destroy your credibility. So, I mean, yeah, that's why it's so funny to see a mountain of it.
Yeah.
I've been online for a while. I know how internet drama works. You hear about a person being bad. You hear about them being bad so many times. You know, people say, oh, look, here's the evidence of it's a big... Like, you think everyone reads those big twit longers?
all those big documents, those 18-page Google Docs that people drop with all the evidence of this and that. Most people don't read all of
Yeah,
that.
they do actually. That's actually the main driver of engagement on Twitter. That sounds like a meager point to make, but
liberal spotted here. He doesn't read the Google Docs.
yeah, that's actually one of the top recommended ways to make your tweet go viral, to break out of the algorithmic cage that most people are in. Anyway, so he just said a dumb wrong thing.
And for the most part, you know, if there's a lot of evidence towards a person being bad, or a lot of perceived evidence, I don't think that's nothing. But I don't want to, you know, I can't, like, we can't pretend that it's not impossible to pack a bunch of sawdust in with the grain.
I wonder how much evidence would be there. You know, I'm just gonna again speculate. I think I recall him or people like him implying that Kyle Rittenhouse was like a far right terrorist, and the only piece of evidence they had was that he crossed state lines with a gun. So that was enough to condemn him for whatever it is they're condemning him for. But 100 pieces of evidence of pedophilia, like that's like what? Who reads that? That is the argument he just made. Like, who reads this stuff? I do. I read it. I watch it. I do the research. I am a fucking certified maniac, and that means that I know things. You don't know things because you're trying to be hyper normal. Trying to be like real people. I'm real. And I'm a fucking psycho. That makes me more real. I'm the most real. I am out of my fucking mind. That makes me hyper real. Go ahead.
You know? And I think that oftentimes I am either responding to people who have a couple of very pointed criticisms, almost always the child labor argument thing, which I've talked about, of course, but the more frustrating one is, like, sometimes, you know, you see people saying stuff about me and you turn and look behind them to see what, like, evidence they've mounted, and a lot of it is like nothing. And I feel like if you could tell them, like, hey, look, turn around, like, look at what you're using. Do you not think it would be good for you to stand by any of these criticisms? Or, yeah, my frustration here is clear. I don't want to oversell it. I have said legitimately stupid stuff. You know, I'm not trying to deny that or downplay that. I'm only saying that it makes it more difficult for me to
just, again, call attention to this. Stupid, not what's a good word for this? Abhorrent, traumatic, hurtful. There's a lot of words you could use. Like, I think the things I said were rotten. You know, dumb doesn't cut it.
To address or give context to those things, give people the opportunity to decide for themselves with the real information how they feel about me, when it's all being kind of, buckshotted at me in a big cloud of nonsense. I don't want to harp endlessly about that nonsense, because I feel like it does take away from the substantial stuff. But, like, look at this. Look at this. This is like, here's a screenshot. Here's the kind of shit I see. Like,
to be fair, this quote, he's looking at a poster that says Salem pedophile trials. This does sound like something someone from our chat would say.
Yes.
We just took it out. So I might be with him on that one.
Like, what does this mean? You know, why do I see this included as what did I mean here? I don't know. How is this supposed to implicate me? Why is this being presented as evidence that I'm a pedophile? Like, Jesus. Look at this one. I wrap up my...
Here's the thing. So just to go back to the point I just made, like, oh, that sounds like some, like, dumb shit that someone from a guy from our chat might say, like a random thing. But what I could do is search through that person's comment history. I bet I would find 7 posts, comments, long screeds denouncing child sex abuse, whatever it is, the topics that we talk about. I haven't seen one from him. I've seen a lot of pro-pedophile stuff. I haven't seen a single anti-pedophile thing from Vaush. Where the fuck is it? Where is that I stand against this shit? It's you only say that in the sense that I stand against it, in the sense that I stand against working for money. That's the only time he's stood against it.
Mm-hmm.
My afternoon classes, I get back home to my computer, I open Discord to find the brain geniuses of Destiny's community having a spirited and extremely necessary debate on the subject of sex bots that look like children. So I sigh deeply, bring my fingertips to the keyboard, and type, "This is why I come here. My professors never want to talk about pedophile sex bots." I mean, the only thing I'm doing here is mocking the topic being discussed, which was, I feel, appropriate. This was all the way back in 2017, so if nothing else, you can see the vat my brain was stewing in before I went on to make my channel and immediately kneecap it with a meaningless, counterproductive, pointlessly edgy devil's advocate. There's constructed social environments for you. Again, I'm not saying that they're streaming with no delay, and folks are always screen capturing the feed, so I knew the contents of my to be sorted folder and the preview window were
He's talking about the clip in question where he reveals the folder. I know we got to get going soon. We've been going for a while, and I know you got going to bed, but if you can make another 5 to 10 minutes.
I
you do
can
that?
do it tomorrow. I am taking a half day anyway, so I'm good.
Okay.
Vocably public knowledge. But to be honest, that didn't really bother me too much. It was embarrassing, sure, but mostly because it made me look like a careless idiot, not because I was ashamed of the, like, furry, demon, monster, GF, big dick porn stuff I knew I had in there. You know, I rambled about liking all that stuff on stream before, not a secret, and I thought, you know, maybe, in a way, this fuck-up would come across kind of charming. You know, like, that's my streamer, that fucking idiot right there. My community was already making a big joke of it by the time I went live again. Of course, I knew as soon as the folder opened on stream that it would be pretty easy for people to lie about what it contained.
Remember, he's saying that it's like a cool, funny, charming thing now. He was freaking out. He was panicked the moment he went to find his tax folder, and it was in his pornography folder that had to be sorted.
By the way, if you're not afraid of it, like if you're not embarrassed, why did you call it taxes and not porn to be sorted? Like I'm pretty clear. Like I have a lot of folders on my desktop and through my hard drive.
No,
I usually name them what I want. You name it taxes because you don't want anybody.
Let's be clear. That the folder with his taxes was within the folder that was porn to be sorted.
What?
He kept his taxes in his porn folder.
So he's actually, this is not even a degenerate thing. This is like you are bad at Windows.
This is just a lot of people
said disorganized.
That's weirdly disorganized because the implication there is that he's whacking off to taxes, which if it like,
he would, he's a socialist. Of course he would. All he wants is taxes.
That is such a good comment. I do not want to trample that. The socialists jerking off to taxes. I'm sure someone said that before, like it's low-hanging fruit, but
yeah.
Pain to stir up drama or cause me trouble or for any other reason. So when later on in that stream, 1 or 2 people came into chat and they said, hey, there was lolly in there. You know, I figured they were just causing trouble and I banned them. Of course, we know where this is going. By the next day, I had learned from what felt like the entire goddamn internet that 2 of the images in my folder preview window were actually from a well-known lolicon artist, and therefore definitely intended to be lolly shit, which has to be the worst possible way to find out about that sort of thing. Now,
okay, without showing the image, it was clear what it was. I'm not going to describe it, but you know, from a distance, you can say, "Oh, that's the individual is a child." Like, there's no fucking mistaking
absolutely no mistaking it. But again, this is to him with the whole goblin thing where it's like, well, I mean, I don't know who the character is. I thought they were a 4,000-year-old dragonborn or something.
Actually,
which is to say,
I need to go to the washroom quickly. Can you keep talking for just
a second? Oh, I'm gonna. To him, the character as created by the artist, never mind how much of a fucking the character's age as created by the artist is more important than the physiognomy as it's drawn. And to me, the obvious problem with this is you're not jacking off to the fucking character narrative. You're jacking off to the physiognomy. You're jacking off to the shape of a child. You're looking at a child. Like this is one of the easiest. Fuck, man. We're not going to do a violence tonight, boys. We're not doing violence tonight. We're doing this is easy peasy discussion, analysis, deconstruction of a weird gay man and his admission to pedophilia. But
right, so
man, do I ever hope that he loses his career over this. I really hope he goes away. He either to prison or just he disappears. Like, man.
So there is evidence that people have shown that his subscriber count's been going down. The response to this has not been great. And we'll see if he keeps digging himself a hole. Like, the fact that this video is still up is wild to me.
Yeah.
This was recorded days ago. I thought he would have, if you read the comments of it, in fact, let's just do that right now. Let's have a look at the comments. What's his community's response to it? 14,000 comments is what we're looking at here. Top rated comment. It's better to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, I guess. Nice. Second, you know, they're making fun of him for being a video essayist. They're making, because he's a live streamer. It's like, oh, you made a video essay. Ha ha ha.
Colt much?
Yeah. Let's see here. The moral of the story is that Vegan Games was the only person with consistent morals throughout the whole drama. Here's one 87 minutes in. I'm beginning to suspect this isn't about Israel-Palestine. That's kind of funny. Vaush finally makes his anti-Vaush video essay. That's pretty good. Okay, these have gotten better since I last looked at it. These are pretty funny. A lot of like Israeli-Palestinian jokes here. Like they're not actually addressing it. Like they're kind of sidestepping his actual arguments and kind of laughing that he made it. But finally, the perfect video for introducing my friends to Vaush. And then stuff about Mr. Girl. Okay, let's keep going.
Obviously, the accusation here isn't just that I had those images saved. That part's true, not really an accusation, but also that I must have known that they were lolicon and saved them because they were lolicon.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
You did. You clearly did.
What else is the process when you save an image?
You just slammed the door shut behind you and locked it, you dumbass. It would have been better for you to argue that the images people have seen are photoshopped. Just deny it, deny, because now you're saying the images are real, but there's no way I could have possibly known they depict children. They obviously depict children. We've all seen what children look like. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's like, what this man is trying to do is he's hoping that you've never saved an image to your computer before.
Yes.
That you're confused. Like, you know how people get, they get all confused when they just start saving things. That's not how a human being.
I'm not an expert at children or saving images in the Windows operating system. I don't know how I could have been expected to make the right decision.
What if this is a good part to end on, because this is just, I've never seen someone, dig themselves into a hole like this.
Now, the obvious and predictable, but nonetheless from me, is that no, I didn't know that, and that must not have been the impression I got from those two drawings, because if I had gotten that impression, then I wouldn't have saved them. I mean, drawings are...
If it looked like child pornography, I wouldn't have downloaded it. Well, it does, and you did.
Yeah.
This is mind blowing. This is fucking...
It's also like, even if it was like somebody got into your search history and they found that you scrolled through a page and lingered on something, is one thing, but like you clicked on it, hit save image as, and then picked a folder and then put it in the folder and then scrolled by it for days on end as you put more images in. How long has it been in there? Months? Weeks? Like, it's so intentional. It's so fucking intentional.
You know what you could do, Vaush? You know what you should do? You should take everyone on a tour of your porn folder. You should have done it right away.
That's what you should have done.
You should, if you are so open with everyone about I like monsters, which is, it just right away sounds like a sneaky way to get away with something. Fine. It's a way to, I'm going to have a huge thing rape a woman so that the adult woman from a distance looks like a child. Like, there's all kinds of like gray area stuff I'm hearing here. But yeah, take us on a tour of your porn. Show us that there's no stuff that we assume there is in there, and you could say, oh yeah, here's my centaur folder, here's my minotaur folder. But I notice you haven't done that, even though you're apparently so open about this shit. Anyway,
or abstractions and art styles and body proportions vary massively, even for characters that are unambiguously adults. That doesn't mean lolly shit isn't a thing or a problem. I've bitched about it being a problem like a lot on stream. It just means that
you've bitched about. I want to hear what this bitching was like, because you could say it right now and say like, I stand against it.
Probably bitching at the
but I noticed
gone up.
Yeah, he's bitching about like I can find anything, but I can't find this. Like, Vaush becomes a libertarian. Oh man, I'm sorry. Why isn't Dick Masterson getting this guy on? All right, go ahead.
Carelessly or inattentively failing to notice it isn't exactly impossible. I know what some people are going to say. No, you must have known. There's no way you didn't know. And like what am I going to do? Make up a fucking evidentiary argument here? Like, I'm not putting up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's what we want, Vaush.
What am I supposed to do? Provide evidence?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. Surprise me. I've never found myself in this position. Most people haven't. But I bet if someone was accused of being a pedophile, they could just off the top of their head come up with a bunch of reasons, like, I look at my, I don't have a folder full of child pornography.
Yeah. We're back to trust me, bro, on this one.
Up the images so we can argue about the pixels or the proportions or whatever. I know fully well that like 99.9% of people who have heard about this drama haven't seen the images, nor do I think those people should go looking for them, obviously.
Why don't you want them to see? It's normal, right? Like, if there's nothing, if there's nothing weird about those images,
that's an excellent point. Because you know what? I bet, I don't know, I actually don't know enough about how YouTube works, but like, if it was just some harmless shit, couldn't he just post it?
Yeah. If it clearly wasn't child pornography, you should be able to show everyone.
It'd be no problem. But he'd get his channel taken down if he posted what actually showed up on that fucking stream.
Yeah, it just you could spend an hour on every 5 seconds of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's pretty much entirely a take me at my word or don't kind of situation where people are free to lie about the drawings, or
Just to up again, like in a video where you're supposed to provide evidence, the culmination of this is you're just gonna have to trust me. No, I don't. No one is. This is after all your planning, all the post-production, that's what you fucking came up with. Like, I can't explain this away. I have no evidence. But fuck me and my 100 links, right?
Yeah.
as I've already seen on Twitter, just post other really bad looking shit and say that's what I had in my folder. There's not much I can do about it, right? It's all totally unfalsifiable, and people are going to make whatever assumptions and inferences they want to make. All I can really say is that I didn't notice the problem while saving the drawings, the same way a person could fail to notice any element of any drawing if they were careless or inattentive.
Can I just say this
It's
again?
The main element. It's the whole drawing.
Okay, almost, and I don't want to give people too much ammunition here, and maybe this is a dangerous thing to say, but like, if there were a rumor out there that either of us were pedophiles, I'd be pissed off all the time. I wouldn't have this sort of cavalier attitude. Like, there's people out there, everyone's saying I'm a pedophile, and what am I going to do? Like, I'd find something. I'd be fucking pissed because that's obviously a lie, and I hate that so much that it would keep me up at night that people have this idea about me that I do this.
I'd be stiff with rage. I'd be
losing my fucking mind if that was out there. But he seems kind of cool with it, which I don't know. That just seems like an odd reaction. I think most people would be the same way. They would do everything in their power to like figure out how to like correct the record. But I don't think he can correct the record.
Or distracted. Hell, chat also pretty much immediately clocked two other drawings in the folder preview window as being AI art, something else I didn't notice, and they gave me plenty of shit for that too, because I'm
as if that's the main component. It's like, it's AI. Well, it's all drawings. You fucking asshole. Like, what do you mean? Like, and that's the thing to look at. Oh, Vaush is into AI stuff. Is it AI stuff of child pornography?
I'm not a big fan of AI art. I think I've done a good job of demonstrating a tendency towards carelessness, if nothing else. So leaving that stupid, least charitable argument aside, someone might then ask, okay, I get it. It's possible to make a mistake like that. Why then would you save the images? And what about them did you like? And look, there's really no way of saying this without sounding...
Okay. I have a feeling something cool is going to happen here. Then we can get going. I know you got to get going soon. But I haven't seen this part, but you feel how the shit clings to the air? I feel like a real bad argument's about to be made.
And crass or flippant or whatever, but it's already pretty revealing video. There's actually a very clear and simple explanation for why, for not just those two drawings, but in fact all the drawings in that folder, all my porn tastes generally, and it's an explanation that is extremely well known and well substantiated. I'm a size queen. I like big dicks.
There it is. Size queen, everyone. He's a size queen. Take a look.
Okay, let me just
genuine all-American size queen.
This is peak performance size queen. You might disagree with it, but this is what it looks like. Now, full disclosure, when I was in my early 20s, I worked in a sex store. I worked in a retail store that sold like porn and like all kinds of weird stuff and vibrators and like clothes that like strippers would come in to buy. So I was familiar with like the terms size queen, but to me, the queen implies a woman. You know what I mean? Like that it sounds like a woman, but that's almost like a porn category in a sense. Like, I don't know how a man, I guess maybe a gay man could be that, but maybe he's admitting that he's gay, but it's very strange. Like it doesn't compute for me that like a straight guy would be into like the biggest penises possible. You know what I mean? Like he's just saying that as if that's, oh, of course. Look, everyone knows this. I'm a size queen. Like this to regular people is worse than anything you've said so far.
Yeah.
Like you're a freak. This is you putting your best foot forward. Oh wait, continue.
Yeah, I was looking through drawn porn like furry or hentai or whatever else. I saw big well-drawn dicks. I thought, cool, and saved the drawings. Then never looked at them again.
Cool.
Cool. Cool.
Hey, actually though, can we clip the cool and use it in the show?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, cool. As if that's the voice that anyone makes when they're looking at porn. Like,
oh, cool.
Like, you just found a deal on a lawnmower, you fucking asshole.
Again, as evidenced by the fact they are in a big dump folder literally called to be sorted. That's
You know, that's the extent of the consideration that I gave those 2 drawings before my community and then the entire fucking internet.
If the to be sorted wasn't like my dubious folder, the what is this folder? This is like, I like this. It must be sorted.
Yeah,
It
it is
wasn't-
sorted all right.
It wasn't the jury of my peers folder. It wasn't throw it in the lake to see if it floats folder. You know what I mean? This was like, I like this. I just need to put it in the right folder. And I want to see, just show me
Yeah.
your directory of folders. I want to see the names. 'cause
It's
I
in the
bet-
pipeline.
Yeah, it's in the pipeline.
Fully corrected my mistake. It's hard to even say anything about it. You know, 5 seconds of ooh, nice dick, cool line art, saved, and it's a whole discourse. You know, I wish I had an answer that was more satisfying, but really for something.
I agree with him that this shouldn't be a discourse. This should be a face the wall situation. But
yeah,
it just like, oh, cool line art, nice dick, right?
Like this, I feel like people are going to believe what they believe. You know, I do think there is a real argument to be made about carelessness, especially with regard to lolicon and its seeming omnipresence in the anime community. You don't have to know much about anime to know that's an issue with it. Yeah, I find it repellent. And
Once again, the Japanese are to blame for this. Like I was so in. Just let's take a step back here. It sounds like he is now admitting it was lolly porn.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, he's admitted that it is. He now knows it is, apparently.
He distanced himself from it at the start by saying like it was short stack goblin stuff. Now the argument is that he was tricked because anime has a problem and it was his carelessness that he got tricked. But this sounds like an admission that it is what it was.
And I've been bitching about it for years. Plenty of that bitching has been on stream too. But it's possible to find something repellent while also not being perfectly vigilant about it. You know, especially in art where stylization and abstraction can kind of, I guess, cloud awareness and judgment of
In
the
art,
extent.
as if it's like a group of 7 painting.
Now, this is another weird kind of trick of the rhetoric here. Anime has a problem, and he's putting the blame on anime. Anime has a problem where they draw nude children and then in the narrative say she's 4,000 years old. That's not them tricking you. That's them covering for you as a pedophile. If they wanted to trick you, they'd draw a 35-year-old woman and then in the narrative afterwards say she's 12.
This is a good example. Like, what was he looking for? 4,000 woman-year-old porn? You know what I mean? Like 4,000-year-old woman porn.
Exactly.
And it was a kid.
Exactly.
I just wanted ancient woman porn.
Yeah.
No, you fucking... that's the thing. Like, when you see the image, you know what it is. And then there's like an asterisk beside it. It's like, actually, this is... She's mature for her age. That's what he's saying. Like, the writer threw you a fucking bone.
Yeah.
And that's why... And this is such a common pedophile argument that anyone who understands these people at all should be like, oh, you've heard the arguments that convicted pedophiles have made, and they're coming out of his mouth.
To which any artists you follow or people in the community might be doing sussy shit, right? Pardon me for taking my most indefensible position yet on this, you know, in this video. In the history of my channel, I actually do like some anime, you know, and there's a lot of really good shit out there in the anime community broadly, and then a lot of the sick anime babes getting railed on Twitter. You know, I'm sorry, like often that is also cool. And I hate the fact that, you know, the pervasiveness of lolicon means that the entire community is tainted, basically, right? I don't like the fact that like you could be looking through what looks like...
This is like him standing up in court and the music is swelling and he's talking back to the judge and standing up for the anime fans. Like, this is such a random position to take. And say, and you know what? It's not fair that we have to deal with this. Our people, the most persecuted minority,
anime
hentai fans. What a fucking turn this is.
Like a bunch of totally like normal, fine, cool babes getting railed by big dicks, whatever you're into, you know, while also feeling like you have to be vigilant that in this incredibly normalized process, some of these drawings might be of characters that are canonically underage, or that like an artist who generally draws in a kind of
canonically.
I mean, he had to say canonically.
I mean, the bit is that they're not canonically underage; they're visually underage.
Exactly, and this is what it's about. Like, dude, we don't care what the writer put in the subtext in the little under the GIF on the image board. We care about what it fucking is in the image. Nobody gives a fuck about what the writer said. Nobody cares about the canon. We care about, did he or didn't he draw a 12-year-old? It's so fucking obvious, but he literally hasn't addressed that at all.
If you were to listen to him talk, you would think that, oh, he was caught with pornography that depicted an old lady, but she's secretly 12, which is actually close to the plot of the movie Poor Things, which just came out, which is getting surprisingly positive reviews for what sounds like a pedophile thing. It's like a child's mind in a grown woman's body, and she goes across Europe having sex. I'm like, someone's whacking off to this, and I don't like that. Anyway.
Like cartoony style might be fine, but then another artist does that, but then they're like actually drawing like they're meant to be teenagers or whatever. I don't like it. And it's a normalization issue. And I think one of the best ways you could deal with it is by being aware. I'm not perfectly aware, so I fucked up. This wasn't the first time that I fucked up in this specific regard.
Yeah.
This is like Trudeau saying, I don't know how many images of blackface, me and blackface are out there. That's, like so it sounds like Vaush is implying it's unknowable how many times he's done this.
You know, after the whole child labor argument saga, people went through a bunch of like likes in an old public Twitter, or, you know, porn account that I had, and over like thousands of liked, you know, furry big dick monster girl images or whatever. I think they found one that was like the character was meant to be a teenager. You know, like, and it's not surprising me that
was
might
it just one. I haven't looked into this. I have a feeling it wasn't just one.
Yeah, you know, like I love throwing people in the pit. At this point, if I know you have a public furry porn Twitter account, I don't care if you're a pedophile. I'm still gonna throw you in the pit, dude. Like
We're now at the consecutive life sentences thing. We're like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you. You're
Doesn't
already in 1,000.
matter.
That right there is 1,000 years. I can throw another 1,000 years at you if you want.
It's Friday. Let's leave early and just hang the guy. I mean, come on.
It's a long weekend. I got a real long weekend energy going through me.
it happened because, you know, I'm running between classes, scrolling on my phone. I look at an image, maybe 2 or 3
on his
I'm in class. I'm in class. I got a couple of seconds here. I'm scrolling through my phone on some furry porn. I'm liking, I'm saving. What the fuck, dude? What kind of life do you live?
In view of God and everyone. Like, this isn't stuff you should be doing in the sunlight. What are you doing? You dig a hole if you do this. And then you pray that, and you tempt fate, because, like, you know what? If there's any justice in the world, someone will come by and bury me in this hole. Nothing good happens in a hole.
Damn.
That is a misogynistic comment.
3 seconds before I like. The degree of scrutiny required there indicates that this goes beyond some kind of like matter of personal temperance and extends broadly into like, how weird is it that that's something that's been that normalized, you know? Anyway, I don't mean to like make a big point or make it like a broader issue, you know, as a way of pulling.
Yeah, you do. That's actually what you're doing, is you're trying to make
the whole
this
point of this video.
society's problem.
Yeah.
Which is an odd position for a socialist to take, but whatever.
Attention away from me fucking up. I just think it's a broader issue, you know? You know, people are going to say what they're going to say. They can judge me for what they're going to judge me for. I think a lot of people have been real and charitable. You know,
I just want to imagine his friends who maybe made it to this point, right? Like, he's got his comrades, he's got the Hassan Pikers, he's got, you know, whoever, like his circle of friends. If they're watching this part, they're just saying, no, stop. Why did he include this? Like, this does not sound good at all.
Yeah.
I think it's insane to say this, like, yeah, he's a pedophile, you got him. I think that's insane, but again, it's not really an evidentiary argument that I can make. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I don't know. God willing, anime culture will get better one day. I wouldn't hold my breath though. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. I'm sure there are other clips or screenshots or arguments out there that people have thrown into their big anti-me document.
Oh, so there's more.
Yeah.
So we didn't cover it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's because he knows how much
like I
more
said-
is there that nobody else has brought up yet. So
Yeah,
he's
I'm
just
trying to
selling
in
it.
before that. You know, there's some
Yeah.
stuff that might be
Oh, there's
fake.
more. You'll find it. Don't worry.
And
you
he's
like
saying,
that
like,
shit, you're gonna love what's next.
because I've had a career of a few years. My career is so short that I've had the same beard the whole time. I haven't really changed anything about myself.
But I wanted to focus on the accusations that I feel are at least somewhat grounded. If I took the time to tackle all the obviously fake or disingenuous shit, we'd be here forever. And I think it would take away.
You would be here forever if we actually had to tackle all of the claims.
There's so many little admissions. It's amazing.
It's actually kind of like stupid to even expect me to go through it all. I'm like, did you have an editor for this? I would be, you know, again, he's very comfortable. He's too comfortable.
Yeah.
So he thought this sounded good.
From the stuff I actually did feel I needed to address. You know, again, walking that line. There is a lot of bullshit, but I don't want to convey the impression that I feel every attack against me is illegitimate, or at least not properly motivated. See, this isn't about debunking a narrative, you know, it's about waving away the most transparently bullshit stuff so that I can focus on explaining the actual mistakes that I've made, the actual stupid shit that I've said, providing context and laying out my thought process so folks on the fence have all the information before deciding to lean
charitably or not. I can't make someone be charitable. It's just up to how they see things. And, you know, I can't ever view all this drama from an outside perspective. I'll always be biased because I am literally the only person who really knows how I feel and why I've said the things I said. And, but to cap it all off, to cap all this off, I'd still like to try my hand at it. I'd like to try and present the charitable narrative, how I feel this all looks with all the information and how I hope people take it. You know,
you don't need to do this. There's no way this could end well, but let's see where it goes.
Again, not holding my breath on that one, but this is what I hope for. You know, I have said some really, really stupid and difficult to defend stuff. That much is clear. But almost all of it comes from the very, very beginning of my time as a live streamer. Looking at it all laid out like this, 5 or so years of drama and accusations, I think it should be clear to people.
Calling it your streaming career is also a hangable offense as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It's only in your world would this be considered a viable career. It sounds like you're not very good at it. If this is your job, this is a fireable offense from your job. Now, maybe in your specific socialist world, you would be just promoted up. But like, if this is your career, this is the Peter principle in option. Like, this is like, you fucked up your career, or you should. And I guess that's the one thing I wanted to get to as well, which is that in our scene, you can say a lot about our sector, about this broad thing called the dissident right. But I'm like, we have a pretty good track record of, if we saw something like this, that guy would be fucking out. It's my opinion. Because there's some, you know, we have a thing where some people tolerate homosexuals, and there's a thing going on where I guess every queer is just with an academic agent's fucking center of gravity right now.
I mean, I know we try to be kind to everybody, but I do think that more than half of everybody that counts as DR currently should be thrown in the same fucking pit as Vaush. That's just me. I'm an asshole and I'm a nobody, but I do think we're way too fucking tolerant.
Yeah, but you're widely known as one of these pit guys.
I'm a pit guy.
You're always trying to put people in the pit. He's always looking for. He's trying to put me in the pit.
I'm a simple man. I love the pit.
You don't like that I like Radiohead as much as I do, and you're like, that's a pitting.
People who have watched this far, that the explanatory variable in all those old clips was my stupid fucking debate bro brain. The obsession with inane hypotheticals and devil's advocates and shock value bullshit, which I employed because I thought using examples and comparisons that normies couldn't handle proved I was smart. It really is impossible to overstate how much I dislike the me in those clips, how I used to act in
job. I was going to skip out here.
It's actually like
for his audience. I want to hear. There's a part that's for his audience.
I know you don't have much of an attention span, especially because you're not used to this type of content on the channel. Don't laugh. Live streamers only turn into video essayists when they're extremely nervous. Look, first of all, I want to apologize for making it so difficult to be a fan of mine and a member of my community. Seriously, I'm sorry. In this respect, at least, you know, I think I've let you guys down. I think this is a great community, you know, exceptional even. And as a consequence of my obstinance and carelessness and stupid fucking debate bro hypotheticals, many of you have been ostracized from other online communities or harassed on my behalf. The content of this channel and my messaging is unambiguously progressive and inclusive and good-spirited, you know? That might not be the popular conception of me and my content, but it remains true nevertheless. None of the people who enjoy my content for those reasons expected, I imagine, to be pushed out of other communities with similar values because they were a part of mine. Because of me and my reputation. Yeah, I don't want that to continue being the case, but...
well, you know what you could do to help those people? Because he's trying to say, like, you know, you are suffering because of me, because of the arguments I made. You could help them if you made a video denouncing pedophilia.
Yeah.
Like really doing it, and it could be 2 minutes long.
Yeah. Not even be a minute 30. Easy.
I don't know what's going through my mind, but like, I feel sick. I feel fucking disgusted with myself that I said that. But he can't say that because he said it so much because he actually believes it.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to be like, I made this video for you, the audience. It's like, well, I mean, that's a double insult because you've made their job harder. You're the worst employee that I think I've ever seen. The worst careerist I think I've ever seen. Anyway, we've gone on long enough. You know, we've gone through the video, all the big chunks here. And I guess that's just where I want to end with Vaush, because I do think this video is indicative and explores his entire ideology, because he uses this degeneracy. And like I mentioned before, there's a lot of progressive streamers. There's a lot of left-wing socialist streamers, but they all kind of have their niche. His niche became LGBT sexual stuff. He talks about trans stuff a lot. That's his big thing. Maybe even more than someone like ContraPoints at this point, you know, just because that freak doesn't make any more videos. But like that's what he feels more comfortable in, because I think his politics is just projected from his degeneracy. And this is something you find a lot with leftists. You know, they get dinged for being too ideological. I don't even really think most of them are ideological. I don't think most of them do a lot of reading. I don't really think a lot of them know their arguments. I think they like to win arguments. They don't really understand their arguments. I think a lot of what we understand to be the left, and just to explain what I mean by the left, I mean left as sort of this like permanent fringe axis of society. You know, the left and the right tends to be a permanent axis in any sort of civilization. It's whoever is sitting on those axes, right? So you always have conservatives, you always have these sort of fringe progressives, but the fringe progressives across time can advocate for different things. But I genuinely think that they've just adopted these quote unquote politics because they lead with their degeneracy. And I'm not the first to point that out. A lot of people have made that claim, but I would argue that most progressives, they're not political. I don't think Vaush is political. I think he's a fucking sick pervert, and he's politicized that. He's picked the movement that makes space for people like him, like a lot of these sick radicals do. And it always extends from their degeneracy. Like there's no surprise that so many anarchists end up being just fucking sick, degenerate perverts, which isn't to say that there's no such thing as good right-wing anarchists. I think ANCAPs, you probably call yourself something like that. You could be a principal, but the anarchist scene has a lot of problems with pedophiles and drug addicts and rapists.
Look,
and
I mean, the right-wing anarchist scene has a huge problem with pedophiles too. Like I don't, and it's part of the reason I'm not in that scene. I haven't been part of that in 7-8 years. Is they're lousy with pedophiles in the same way the fucking left wing is. So
yeah, and so they lead with that. They're not like it sounds like a big claim I'm making, but I don't think Vaush is even fucking political. I think he's just like a fucking pervert and an internet guy. That's what he started off. He started as a guy of the internet. See, he'll dismiss his debate bro past like a lot of them will. That's all you are. Because what were you before that? You were nobody. Then you started as a debate bro. Now you're a guy who just talks on stream. You won't even debate. I would have more respect for you if you actually debated.
Yeah.
Because then you're actually testing it. A lot of these guys have a policy of never engaging, or they only engage with people they think they can beat. So they pick really oftentimes mentally unwell right-wing individuals who are just advocating for some crazy shit to embarrass them. But like, you can't even be a debate bro. Your debate bro past was a more evolved version of you. Whatever the fuck this is just it's a degenerate construct. So you can just exist and propagate these sick ideas, which are not even political. It's just a sickness spreading. It's all this fucking is. ContraPoints, it's a sickness spreading. And they couch it in this straight, like a philosophy tube. These are sick fucking people that have put on costumes of intellectualism. But if you scratch the surface, like and look at it, behold, this is what every one of them is going to have. Like, it's not just Vaush, ContraPoints, philosophy tube. They are all fucking borderline or actual serial killers about to happen. You know what I mean? And like everyone dings the right for having extremists. Like, look at these people. Like, these are the ones you don't want to leave your kids around.
Oh yeah.
The case of Vaush is obvious, but like all of them, like they're all fucking sick. Anyway, and that's their politics. And that's what this video fucking proved.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I guess I don't think there's any more chats. We've been going for like just over 3 hours now.
I was going to say it would be really cool if he lit himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy.
It would be really cool. Yeah. Oh man, I wonder if he would get in trouble for being a white. Well, he's not white, right?
He's not white. I forgot. He's Polish. He's a Polish Jew.
All right. Anyway, we'll get going now. That was. I hope we got to all the comments. Not a whole lot to read. I don't think we had any super chats here. Thank you everyone for showing up. A lot of people couldn't stick around because we went for a while. It's pretty late right now, but
we did.
I had a great time, and I hope. Let me just get.
It was good.
Stop sharing this right now. All right, this is great. Anyway, Behold says bye to you as well, and I'll see you guys later.
Yep. Good night.